Hey,
Hi,
we are
what's up?
recording.
Yeah.
We have our special guest here, Chad.
It's actually Chaz. It's French for Chad. But like,
He's from Surfertown, USA.
whoa, man, don't go giving away my details. First of all, thanks for having me on this totally major podcast.
Oh my God, I'm peeking. I'm fucking
Whoa, bro.
Philly's hilarious, you guys.
You're sharing more details than we wanted, Familia.
From what the
Like, whoa, bro.
like, whoa.
You got to control
Dude,
your vibrations, bro.
So
Ooh,
so the waves on the surf, how are the waves today? Are they
they're actually pretty gnarly right now.
Yeah. How come you're not on the beach right now? How come you're not?
Well, it's kind of a bummer. I totally slipped and broke my leg, bro. So I've kind of just been on this cast, not the podcast, like an actual cast. But you know, one burrito a day, and I'm okay.
I see your cast is signed by the dolphins of the sea. Do you speak to these animal creatures? Are you Aquaman?
No way, bro. Only when I smoke, bro.
What do you
swear
smoke?
I hear them.
Yeah.
I smoke like angel hair, pasta, and marijuana. And I feel like I'm losing touch with this accent, and I'm transforming, and it's becoming Philly.
Oh my
Filthy
God.
fanatic.
Filthy.
Where's Joe when we need a
Welcome on. This
to
is
the None of Our Business podcast. We said that in unison. We're in
We
sync.
did.
We're on our periods at the same time.
I have this irregular flow going with right now. I don't know what's going on.
You would have a regular flow.
I put a towel on it. Is that okay? Ladies, help me out. Does the towel work?
Keenan, don't make fun of menstrual cycles on the podcast.
We can make fun of anything on the podcast.
This is true. Just because we can make fun of anything doesn't mean we should.
Do you know how many racist and sexist shit we said on this fucking podcast?
Some things you don't joke about, Keenan.
Oh, menstrual cycle's one of them?
Unless you can have a menstrual cycle, it shouldn't be in your vocabulary.
I was about to say, I had some leakage from my butt the other day. And
Oh, fuck. Well, it's because you got to stop eating potato chips. You know that
Is
chips.
it potato chips?
Yeah, chips actually give you anal leakage. I'm not even kidding. That shit literally says it on the bag. He's like, I've been eating lots of chips, bro.
Lay's, you can't eat just one or it'll give you anal leakage.
I think I'm joking. That's a real fucking thing.
I'm gonna buy some chips right now. And I'm gonna look at like, holy shit. I'm gonna Instagram post it.
They're gonna be taking squirt dumps. Oh God, we need to change the subject.
No. Well, I mean, since we're on the subject, I was curious. Have you ever wiped your butt?
Oh no. Hold on. First,
And then some of the
if you're
shit got on
eating
your
something-
finger.
Oh God. If you're eating something right now, we're going to have to ask that you fast forward. Because this has just become the 12-year-old business podcast.
Come on. Not that it ever happened to me, but I'm just curious.
I'm
if it
asking
happened.
for a friend. How did you get out of this alive? Did you just wipe the rest of it on the side of your leg and just go take a shower afterwards?
Oh my God.
Have you ever taken a dump and then saw there was no toilet paper and it was too late?
No.
This is a moment nobody wants to admit to.
I don't think I think I've always had toilet paper. There was once, oh wait, okay. It may be embarrassing to some, but I'm going to say it anyway, fuck it. But no, I remember in elementary school, I used the bathroom real bad. So I ran out, took a dump in the bathroom, like bathroom, say bathtub.
You
bathroom.
took a dump in the bathtub?
There's no bathtub at elementary school. So I took a dump in the bathroom, but there was no toilet paper. So I had to grab the hard, rough,
The
brown paper.
Yeah.
And I had to like.
Did your finger break through? Because it was so thin? It was one ply?
That shit hurt. My ass still has like PTSD of those. It's like, don't ever wipe me again like that, Keenan. No, it was
you needed the Charmin, huh?
no, it was elementary. Wow, I am really high.
And you keep holding the mic, making all kinds of noise.
No, wait, you can hear that? What am I? What number am I?
You are, looks like
three. I'm bringing myself down. Hello, testing, 1, 2. There we go. That's much better.
You know,
Hello.
We forgot to announce that
Hey,
Joe
yes.
El Guapo is not with us today.
Joe L. Guapis. All right. Hopefully these you can adjust me in the audio later. But yeah, so welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is episode 36, 37.
Keenan looked at me for a second with the most despair I've seen in a while. He was like, shit, what episode is this?
I really don't know. Even though
I think it's 37.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on YouTube now. So if you want to tell your friends, go back, listen to older episodes, skip through stuff pretty easily. I watch a lot of other podcasts on YouTube. So if you want to listen to us on YouTube and have your friends do that as well at work, in the car, blah, blah, blah. I am now almost all of season 1. That's the first 24 episodes is up and available on YouTube. As a matter of fact, episode, I think 18, I forgot who was on episode 18. Damn, that's bad, but got a lot of views. I sent a picture to us on our group chat.
I definitely didn't get it. That's because I never look at the group chat.
No,
ladies and gentlemen, if you ever put me in a group chat, there are going to be.
Reply.
I probably won't even pay attention to it because by the time
Yeah.
I look at it, there's like 80 messages.
Yeah.
No, you're good, Keenan.
Am I? Can you hear me well?
Oh, wait. So Keenan started doing some audio editing and video editing, and now he's taking it a lot more serious. So before, where nobody gave a fuck, and I was like, hey, guys, let's keep it, let's tone it down. Let's fix the levels. Now Keenan's like, okay, there's about, we're at 17 decibels. And
anywho.
Do you find that you have a different perspective now that you've been doing this work?
Only a little bit. I mean, I was involved in video and audio editing a long time ago. It's funny how things are coming back full circle.
Oh, so I'll just go fuck myself then.
Hell yeah, with 2 fingers.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where your fingers
I would rather
go.
use my whole hands. You know what I mean?
You never do the 2-finger stroke?
No.
It feels
No.
makes imagine that it's a vagina.
Oh man. This is truly the None of Our Business podcast.
Anyway, yeah, so I work with analog video editing, cutting, and audio.
Oh, that explains the gray hair. I was wondering where that came from.
I'm old as fuck. Yeah. I have grandkids. No, I wish I had grandkids.
Oh.
But, no, sad note. Let's skip on that.
Where's the sound sample for the cue the audience. Anybody out there have you ever heard the show Married with Children?
Of course I know that show. I'm watching the episodes on Hulu.
Are you?
Yeah.
It's on Hulu? Okay.
All 10 seasons. That show actually ended abruptly too. They were never given a rightful final episode.
Really?
Just one day they showed up to work.
Like the Wayans brothers.
Yep, pretty much.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Fox was ruthless.
That's so crazy though because it was such a good show.
Yeah, 10 seasons. If you last 10 seasons, you're something.
Yeah.
And it made Ed O'Neill really famous.
Hell
Christina
yeah.
Applegate really famous.
Oh man, I heart Christina Applegate so much, bro. I met her actually. I told her.
Really?
Well,
ask her to come on the show next time you meet her.
I don't know her.
If you're like that up in Hollywood,
I don't
Philly.
know. Fuck. I was a background on the set of Dead to Me, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, I recommend. People would think it's a chick flick thing, but it's not.
Is that the one with her and the girl that played the mom in How I Met Your Mother, and they're like trying to be best friends with her at a pool or something like that, and she doesn't like her? Like somebody died in the family or whatever.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So that's recent.
Yeah, it's good.
How did you get that gig?
Well, again, I was working background.
Well, we talk a lot about artists and musicians and being in Hollywood and Los Angeles and stuff like that and all the struggles. But was it a struggle to get this background thing?
No. Well, now it's become harder than ever to become a background actor because so many people are doing it.
Well, but then how did you get the one for Dead to Me then?
So check it out. This is for anybody who's interested. This is the short, brief history of background acting, right? So background acting, you used to be able to just go to these things called booking agencies. It's a lot easier than getting a real agent, right? Like for an actor. And basically, these are just people that have relationships with production assistants, the PAs for productions.
So these booking agents, how do you get to know them? They just come to you?
So they used to be all over the place. Okay. No, they used to be like listed, right? But what ended up happening was central casting
I've heard of that.
Is the
Okay,
main
so that's
company, right?
Okay,
You
yeah.
can go directly to central casting without going to these booking call-in services.
So it's like a staff agency for actors.
Yeah, for background
actors,
which is
right.
like once you become labeled a background actor, it's really hard to remove that from your resume.
Now, is that because it shows up somewhere that, hey, this person was a background actor, so he probably doesn't, or she probably doesn't need to be part of, is a really good one to be part of our, man, like, do they see that like a LinkedIn thing and they go, ooh, I don't want to work with him because he's just a background actor?
Sort of, but everyone should do it if you're pursuing acting, only because it gives you a chance to learn the rules of the set, like being on a major set.
Okay, so let's go over a typical day in the set, because I watch a lot of documentaries and behind the scenes and B-roll footage. I love that stuff, as
Right.
you know, a construction building,
like back in the day when you had the special features on the DVDs.
Yes. So, but a lot of interviews that I watch of actors that I like and enjoy, they say it's very boring on set. Like it people think like, oh, you're jumping around and action scenes and blah blah blah, and you're doing great dialogue and stuff like that. But it's usually,
well, yeah, if you're the star.
Okay, but
if you're background,
even some of the stars say it is very. Sometimes they'll be on set for like an hour, but they have to be. They'll be on set for 14 hours, but only do like 1 hour of real work.
Oh yeah. Well, because you have to. So number one, you never know when they need you available, even if you're a background. So they have this place called holding.
So you're on call, like
so
a doctor.
Where actors have trailers.
Yeah.
Background actors are all just thrown into a big ass room like the one that we're in recording, and it's called holding. So
it's like a detention center,
basically. And check it out. Check it out. If you're part of SAG, the union,
yes,
SAG-AFTRA now it's known as, you get access to like things better than donuts. You can have yogurt,
because you're paying for that. Milk. It's a union.
Yeah, right. So you get access to a lot of dope treats. If you're just background, non-union, they give you fruits and whatever the hell. Like you
get paid less, right?
50% less.
Yeah. Because you're not paying dues.
But you also are likely to get 50% less work as a union because you cost so much more.
That's right.
But it's really hard to become union.
That give and take is so weird. I mean,
it's crazy, man.
I don't think Hollywood's the only one or the only industry that does weird shit like that.
With unions and stuff?
With unions, or like the control of how much you work to how much you get paid to the benefits and all this other stuff. I feel like that there's other categories that involves in, but at least in Hollywood, it's pretty prominent.
That really brings up a discussion to mind about.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Talk about it.
I'm trying to get that deep voice, but I can't because I can't hear myself that well in these. I'm gonna switch headsets. But you keep talking.
Cianan. Here we go. Here we go.
Well, wait. What if I put two in? Okay, if I put two in,
if you just put another one in, you could just switch out.
Can I put it in the? If I put two in the same hole, or
Cianan is about to put it in. Yeah, just put it in a different hole and switch out.
Where do you want me to put it in?
Oh, jeez. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. As we said, Joe is not here, so Cianan has a little more freedom than usual.
Range right now. No one can control me.
And I'm more Joe. Of a diplomat than Joe is.
So I'm loose. I'm loose, Magoose.
Cianan is definitely loose. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever heard, but
I know. I had a few in the end, in the rear end. But it's not as bad as you think it is. It feels okay.
So I wanted to. So I wanted to touch base on the automation of jobs and how real that shit really is.
And are we just strictly sticking this to Hollywood, or do you think this branches off to pretty much everything?
Everything, man. Okay. But I saw the realities of it even in background acting.
Okay.
Because when I was on the set, and I can say only so much. Not that I signed an NDA, but I was on the set of Space Jam 2, the upcoming film.
But I've heard this a lot in a lot of interviews that people are cautious to say things. And is it because you're worried you're not going to get hired or something?
No, yeah. Oh. And I'm not revealing any plot points. What I am revealing is some technology that was being used. So, for example, when I went in to get fitted and whatever, I came back for another day of work, and they had to scan me so that they can recreate me digitally should they need to.
So you're saying that,
like Princess Leia and shit.
Yeah, but where I'm going is because the style of your job as a background actor, there's a lot of movies, for instance, like World War Z, where you have a shit ton of thousands and thousands. They can't hire 10,000 people.
Right. So they would just digitally recreate.
Yeah. So I can see, but it would be nice that if they did digitally create you, you get like a residual check of like $1.50 or something. I know.
And even principal actors are worried about the fact that they can just do that now. Once they have your likeness, they don't ever need to hire you again.
If they do it well, I mean, if it gets to the point where people accept it, like for instance, I think Princess Leia was done really well, and so is General. Ooh, I'm gonna get it from all the Star Wars
the
people.
old school guy, right?
Yeah. Wait, I know I've seen this movie so many fucking times.
Dude,
I should know.
I don't know. It's fucking General
Tarkin.
Tarkin.
I knew your foul stench when I was brought on board. Yes, I'm a fucking nerd. Any Star Wars fans will know that line. Yes, and that's why I'm single, ladies.
Is that the one that he's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing?
Yes.
And
Wait, no, that's.
And then Darth Vader starts to choke him out, though. Yeah, right. The guy that gets choked out is him, right? General Tarkin.
No,
it's another guy.
General Tarkin is the old man who is actually above Darth Vader in rank.
What? I didn't know there was someone above Darth. Oh, I thought it was the Lord, the Sith Lord, then Darth Vader, and then everyone else.
Well, now this is where my expertise may not go that far, and people will give me shit for, but if you see the first episode, or not first episode,
one,
the original
Phantom Menace?
No, the original movie, sorry.
New Hope.
New Hope. Number episode 4.
Yeah.
But the original.
Yeah.
General Tarkin tells Darth Vader to stop choking that dude. He says enough. This shit. I should know the line. Yeah. But he basically told Darth Vader to stop doing
Darth Vader listened.
And Darth Vader listened. So I don't know.
Kind of the way Joe tells you to stop and you listen.
Fuck Joe. No.
Look how much trepidation in your commentary existed. You were like, "Well, you."
No. Joe's cool. He's my friend. Anyway, back to Star Wars because this is my topic. So,
oh god.
No.
Star Trek is better than Star Wars, right?
How fucking dare you, sir?
I'm kidding, dude. I don't know anything about Star Trek.
Look in my eyes and say that.
I don't even know Star Trek. And first of all, I'm definitely more of a Jedi than a fucking Trekkie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And not that I have any hate towards it. I'm just saying I know more about Star Wars than I do Star Trek, and that's not saying shit.
Well, what is it? Because Star Wars was introduced to you first and a lot by the other members of your family, like Joe and
back in the day, I definitely it's like a religious tradition. You know, like it's handed down.
That's so weird. That's very interesting.
Although you would strike me as a Trekkie since it's more scientific, and literal based.
Yeah, it is. But
for all your analytics and logic.
No,
the force is strong with you, huh?
It better be. It got, I wouldn't say bad, but this is how much, me and my brother were deep into this movie is that, and this happens, a lot of people experience certain things in their life in certain ways, that affect them where they really get into it. And it really sucks that when you do go around saying you love Star Wars and you express Star Wars, that other people give you shit for it. Cause it's like, what if I gave you shit for working on your car all the time and doing like hot rods and stuff like that? Like it's so shitty.
Did you just defend your nerdum?
I'm just saying it's really fucked up that people have the ability to judge others and their what makes them happy kind of thing.
How often do you feel judged, Keenan?
Every fucking day. I feel judged right now.
Well, you're definitely being judged because I'm an ENFJ. So my general disposition is to judge things.
So new subject. No, that's fine. Well,
you were an ENFP, right? So your general disposition is not to judge things, but just to stare at them, even if you have judgments.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're just like, well, I mean, there you are.
But this gives me a platform to say what my judgments are. So,
although you are pretty judgy for someone who doesn't make judgments.
I'm a hugely judgy person. My fucking family wanted me to be a lawyer because I argued all the time. Which anybody who knows me knows that's
You'd be a
true.
terrible lawyer, Kieran.
Objection.
Objection, Your Honor. I had sex with Katie too.
I plead the fifth.
Man, Dave Chappelle.
Dave fucking Chappelle. I was watching some of his stuff at work, and I should be working, but I was rewatching Black Bush. I was rewatching his racial draft.
Oh,
it's fucking hilarious.
By saying Bush, it just reminded me of something. New documentary. It's
which
called
one?
The Family.
Yeah,
I saw
know.
it.
No, I want to badly.
Oh,
it's great, isn't it?
My OMG.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Keenan? It's out.
I know
the truth.
Yeah, it's not
everything everyone ever wanted to know about what the fuck was really going on.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah,
and worst of all,
nobody
they do it in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And you got to think of all the other things that are involved. Other
it's tied to the NRA. Yeah.
But I mean, other organizations that we talk about as far as like, I know you're part of one, but the Freemasons is Freemasons Guild. And then there's the, the supposed.
I don't think that those are mutually exclusive. I think they're actually separate.
All together.
No,
separate. That's what I'm saying. You have all these other entities involved and supposedly manipulating the government from Freemasons to Illuminati.
But it really was
to the Rothschilds.
This group here.
Well,
in America.
I was just gonna say, as far as we know from this documentary, I mean, I would say this documentary gives 70% of the truth.
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Who know? I mean, if they told the real truth, somebody
I don't think it'd be. It wouldn't be allowed. It wouldn't be distributed on Netflix.
And yes, exactly. And then you can say, well, however, because we're so susceptible to like BS and control to do whatever somebody tells us to do as a nation, then they can easily just give us the truth and nobody would do anything about it because we're so controllable.
Well, I looked up the guy who did the documentary, Jeff Charlotte.
Is he still alive?
He's an investigative journalist. I mean, he's got a long-standing career. In fact, he's known for putting out stories on his Instagram that would never make it to the news or the magazines because of how crazy, like, honest they are.
Right, and how the truth is crazier than fiction.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people can't believe
it.
And they dismiss it, and it really sucks. I mean,
and it's unlimited. So if you don't watch this documentary soon, it's going to be taken down. It's a limited time.
Same thing with End of the Road, How Money Became Worthless. I gotta make sure I watch this before too late. I mean, thankfully they still have Dirty Money on there.
Yeah.
But it's something that was said. We just spoke about Dave Chappelle, that he said in his stand-up, which I think people laughed but really didn't
understand, like the gravitas.
You can see how people's faces, they didn't get it. And he was saying something about Hollywood and Weinstein and Louis C.K. and all that stuff. And he was saying about how wouldn't it be crazy that the stuff you see about
Dave Chappelle isn't cool with Louis C.K.? You said
he mentioned about Louis C.K. Yeah.
About how they dissed him and shit, or
his at the time the accusations and him admitting to him and doing all the weird stuff to
I don't
women.
remember seeing that in his Netflix special. He commented on it.
Mm-hmm. Briefly. He did it briefly. Okay. But he made a statement about the Hollywood and things behind the scenes.
That's right. So I don't think he defended Weinstein, but he was like, what else do you think he was calling you in for when he was like, hey, I'm by myself, come over?
More than that, above that. I'm linking his statement to this documentary.
Okay.
He was saying how wouldn't it be crazy that what you saw about Weinstein wasn't the bad stuff that's going on in Hollywood? What if there's worse stuff that you don't even know about? I'm obviously paraphrasing.
Of course there is.
He did a great statement that made me go, wow. That I already knew, but it was just like, that's really
to
good
be able
statement.
To be said,
yeah. It's like, I wish more people said it like that.
Damn.
Because people don't get it. People think that Harvey Weinstein is this like evil dude, but it's like Harvey Weinstein probably learned it from somebody who's still doing it right now that we don't know about.
Well, look at what Jeff Epstein.
That's right. And Joe's not here, and I would love to talk about it with Joe.
I mean, dude was killed before he could link all the names and fucking places.
And that's what I admitted. That's why
it was too convenient.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe sent me
convenient.
Joe sent us a message in Trillo about Jeff Epstein killing himself in prison. I was like, who is this guy? I looked up. I think I knew it was, but I was like, I looked it up anyway. And
the Clintons, bro.
When I found out, I was like,
he was tied to the Clintons, who are part of the family.
And supposedly, Trump met him
too. We could probably get killed for even mentioning the family or the fellowship on this podcast.
Kind of, sort of, maybe, but because on Netflix, we can't really.
Right.
I think they would rather go after the Netflix and the journalists who did it.
Yeah. Well, the journalists used to be part of them.
Part of the family?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually how a lot of those things get released. I mean,
and the reason he left was because he was like, what the fuck?
Well, look at the guy who runs, I wish I had this information on me right now. I have my computer up, but the guy who runs Scientology, his father left or quit.
Yeah.
He was on Joe Rogan's show and he wrote a book. So it's usually people who are part of this stuff
that come out.
Nah. Fucking, we talk about aliens and shit all the time, but it was because of Bob Lazar, who worked there, gave out the information.
Well, now we got Bernie, who said to Joe
I know.
that, if he becomes president.
I know, I loved it.
But do you really think he would?
He's not going to do it. Nope.
Of course not.
Of course not. And Joe Rogan's going to give Bernie shit when Bernie wins and doesn't do it.
In fact, that's one of the things that I think was really big for me was when I found out how much pull the family has. And like how every president has traditions since I think it was
probably since this country was founded, man.
No, it goes a little further in. I think it was Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
Since Hoover, the presidents have been meeting with
the family.
With the family.
But how do you know
that's why they have that prayer breakfast?
Yeah.
Traditional. It's all connected to that.
But I'm saying that I'm pretty sure that they've been meeting up before.
Well, the founder of this thing is from like some country in Europe. Oh man, Norwegian. Pardon me. Like it was so mind blowing and so many facts were being thrown at me that I'm like, I'm still trying to like.
Understandable. I'm just saying that I'm pretty positive. I
know there's always been some sort of
that they didn't just come into taking control in the 18th century.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure, and this is where it goes to other organizational groups like the Freemasons that were involved with George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, all of them. You know, for me, it's like, well, how is it that this group came in and pushed your group out? You know what I mean? Like, because your group was heavily involved.
Yeah. And
I'm only saying your group only as a reference that you're a part of Freemasons in the sense that they were involved in link with the government. Some say
because the founding fathers were
part of it. They say they manipulated it and stuff like that. But
I think the misconception that people get of Masonry is that they're actually involved and stuff like that. And while there may have been a period in time where they were, just because of the membership, every now and then they'd call in a favor.
Yeah.
For the most part, what it really was, man, and what it really still is a boys club, man.
And get
together with the cigars.
Is there
and
a girls'
the beers.
Freemason?
There is one.
There is.
It's called the Order of the Eastern Star.
Oh, I've heard of that. Okay, no, is there a reason why it had to be called that, not just Freemason something?
I mean, yeah, everything is symbolic.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But I think the argument that's been made as to why it's because number one, it's a fraternity. That's why women can't be a part of it. They have a sorority, right? And so there's a sister sorority chapel. Yeah.
God, that makes me wonder. You brought on something I really was thinking about hard.
What?
I know we joke and talk about Area 51 and stuff like that, but if there are any minorities or females who work at Area 51, how do they express equality if they're working for something that doesn't exist? You know what I mean? Like that would really suck. Like
minorities and women working at Area 51.
Because, all the Area 51 is again a boys club. It was all, these are all government stuff. It was all white,
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the odd thing.
Hidden figures.
Right. So like when you look at the documentary of the family, they even talk about how they have the boys section where they're sort of conditioned and bred.
Separate.
And then there's the girls, and the girls are taught they're like instructed and brought up and inundated to understand, to cater to the guy.
Interesting.
Straight up. And here's what was really scary. There's a part in the documentary where one of the big heads, like let's say the big bros from the fraternity, right, comes in all of a sudden. He's like, so how do you feel about somebody who, let's say, raped and killed girls? Right? And they're all like, what would Jesus say? And, right? And the kids were like, or the boys were like, that he's a bad person. He's like, would he? Would he say that? And keep in mind, they don't believe in the whole Bible, just 4 or 5 books. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then Acts.
Whatever fits their objective, of course.
Exactly. That's all they care about. Right? And they were like, take the story of King David. He literally killed the husband for a girl he was fucking with, right?
Right.
He said, but he was chosen. So as long as you're chosen, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah, it makes their evil doings justifiable.
Exactly.
I'm saying this is nothing new to me. You look at the Crusades, the Inquisition,
right,
Egyptian, Roman, Genghis Khan. I mean, come on.
It's so crazy to me. But their argument then is superseded. No, they even add one more layer of it by saying all imperfect vessels do God's work. So on top of that, they're saying, no, because we're such pieces of shit, that's why we've been chosen to be wealthy, to be elite
Yeah.
and to go out and change the world and to focus on wars
Yeah.
and stopping certain dictators by inviting them to join our club
Mhm.
and under our boot. Otherwise, we kill them. You know what I
I'm
mean?
pretty sure they shook hands with like Osama and Saddam and all that
That's
stuff.
exactly, dude. They did it
Mhm.
with Gaddafi.
Mhm. Yep.
For me, that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think.
And I'm saying, how is it crazy? Were you never did
No, no,
nothing
no,
in
no,
your
no, no.
lifestyle ever come across as, hey, rich white people do some rich white people crazy shit?
Well, it goes back to that old argument where people were always like, why does it seem like the bad people always get ahead and the people who are nice,
Right.
right,
Why do bad artists always get the Grammy?
right, and it's all politics, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
Everywhere.
politics. It's not
Politics and money.
It's not a conspiracy.
Nope.
It's called politics.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
they changed the word from conspiracy to politics just to make it
Yeah,
justifiable.
because that's all it is. There's books like The Art of War or Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince.
I read or listened to both of those.
Yeah, where it's essentially it talks about how you're supposed to portray one aspect of yourself to the public, and then just do whatever the fuck you want in private.
Those type of people read those books. I would say not religiously, but heavily. It was heavy. I mean, shit. The Count of Monte Cristo. I feel like there was a section where he was being trained or something like that. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie or read the book. But while the main character was in prison, he met somebody who was like this general of some army.
Sure, the old wise wizard.
Yes, and he read all these books, and those books involve books like The Art of War and all that stuff. So two things. What brought you to watch that documentary? Like it was just an advertisement or whatever, and then how did you feel right after watching it?
Well, number one, I take great pains to curate my Netflix feed. Like I like and dislike things specifically to change it up. So my suggestions are highly tailored.
I have yet to tell my mom to stop using my Netflix because it's fucking up my kid.
You got Gilmore Girls in your feed and shit.
And all this stuff. I'm like, I didn't watch that. Oh, that's right, Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So there's a strong indication there that I wouldn't have come across it had I not been watching that shit. But also, I mean, look, keep in mind, it's no secret that like I've mentioned plenty of times, I had become a Freemason, and it wasn't to expose. Like honestly, for me to learn the truth,
a very interesting.
To learn the truth is enough.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't take a vow and then break it like I haven't. I haven't said anything I'm not allowed to say.
And I'm heavily interested in that organization, even though not being a part of it. Like I've watched documentaries.
Did I ever? I took you once, didn't I? Yeah. And then you never went back, right?
No, and it was just something where it was like, I kind of like being on the outside. It's almost like if you met your hero, they turn out to be kind of shitty, and it's like I'd rather just keep it as like this cool, mysterious organization,
right?
Because I might get in there and find out, oh man, it's just like going to church. I don't want to,
I mean, the saying is that it'll take about 10 years, no matter what you're doing, to become enlightened or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole. But really, it's a personal journey, and honestly, that's really what it was, man. I mean, I come from a background of, as most people do, shit. And I was trying to find answers for all the pain.
And that's why you joined this group.
Yeah. But as I got in there, a lot of what I had already studied was being offered to me, but I had already studied it. And I mean, the argument being made is like, oh, but now you're studying it with new eyes.
And that's kind of how I feel when you talk about things like the family in this documentary. Like, because that's my field of interest when I'm not masturbating or playing video games. I'm watching.
Well, you're not masturbating or playing video games. You want to know who's really running the world.
Yeah,
but is it like most people, so you can point and blame someone for our problems?
No. And this is the weird thing about me. I just want to know what it is, just so I can know it. And I feel like that really sucks because I'm not going to do anything about it. Like once I watch this, and as yourself, you just watched it, but does that mean you're going to go and force people to vote, or something like that?
No. Well,
like,
look,
it's just information.
Remember, I announced that I wanted to be president, right?
Oh, we forgot about that. Okay, so Philly wants to be president.
So, as I learned more and more about this, like, it doesn't make. I don't think presidents really. They affect our lives, obviously, but on a far less scale. Yeah, on a far less scale than actually local businesses affect our lives, or or local politics. Dude.
Local government is the more.
It's the one that
state,
directly
state
affects
and city. Yeah. But I mean, the president really is the. He's
They're the
the
ones that
executive
take
branch.
us in and out of wars.
Yes, technically the only, I guess, quote unquote, real job of the president is he's the general. He's not general, but he's the leader.
For the best insurance rates in town, call 1-800-GENERAL now.
Sorry. I mean, he's the commander in chief. That's his title. Right. He is the highest you can ever get in the military.
Right.
That's all you got.
Which is why President George Washington, with his wooden teeth, was running shit, because he was a fucking real general.
And the idea is that
meanwhile Trump,
well, that's why you have those other branches.
He's on a whole other level, man. He's a whole fucking different royal, as they say.
And so, was he in the documentary, The Family, President Trump?
Yeah. So he is not linked to them, but he met with them and is working with them.
Right.
But he's not a traditionally.
No. Trump doesn't seem like that.
It's exactly what it seems.
Yeah.
They're trying to fucking figure out how to make it work with this president-elect who, having access to what was the name of it? Not Vanguard. The Cambridge Analytica.
Oh yeah.
Who had access to Cambridge?
Ooh.
Yeah, because
did
Trump
you watch the documentary on that?
The Great Hack.
Yeah, the Great Hack.
I told you about it. I told you about it.
I know you told me about it. Sorry. I finally watched it.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So because he had access to Cambridge Analytica, was able to swing the votes over in his direction, right? So it caused a little chaos, but as far as the family is concerned, they see it all as meant to be.
They got power above.
They're like, fuck it, we'll just work together.
Right. There's no,
because what more imperfect vessel could exist for their philosophy than Trump?
And I think they had all that years of experience to be able to see if there was a kink in the machine and be able to fix it or put a Band-Aid on it or something like that. That's
why this whole thing with Epstein dying is crazy to me. And there's some people who are like, they just relocated to him a different island and he's just chilling for the rest of his fucking life.
Oh, so you think he got out?
Well, that's what some people are arguing.
So
I don't think he did. I think they legit killed him.
I think that's a high scenario. Or he really killed himself out of guilt.
Or they really did, because there's a story in the family documentary of this senator who ended up getting caught up publicly having had an extramarital affair. And part of them, like their philosophy is that you got to go public with this shit. Like there's sort of like a rule of conduct.
Oh, okay.
And so, but for a while, nobody knew where the fuck the senator was. And they were saying that he was out in the Himalayas or that he went for a mountain climb. But what he actually did was he went to it's called C Street is the name of the building out in Washington, a couple blocks away from the White House. It's basically like a fraternity house, but for only politicians. And you could be a 40-year-old politician. If you get divorced and you just want to like do your own fucking thing and be like, you know what, I just want to live with my bros. Yeah. You can just live there for $400 a month.
Yeah.
Everything, all the rest of the price is being subsidized by our tax dollars.
Yep.
Because they're technically a non-profit religious organization.
Yep.
A 501(c)(3). It's
no
bullshit,
surprise.
man.
Of course it is.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because here we are, right, getting money taken off the top from the paychecks. You know what I mean? And,
and maybe more, who knows?
And then you got companies like Amazon not paying a fucking cent in taxes.
Not a dime. Sending their money overseas.
And don't get me wrong, I buy shit on Amazon 24/7.
It's almost like forceful. I like to find out how many people don't buy off of Amazon.
Right.
Yeah.
So all this shit to say, after watching the documentary, how did it affect my life? Well, in one of two ways. Number one, I just, more than ever, I was pushed to ask, like, what do I really want to fucking do, man? Because, I've already made the announcement, I want to be president, right? But then I see shit like this, and then, I'm following Andrew Yang really closely.
Okay. Billionaire.
Yeah. I'm following his candidacy for presidency really close because he's legitimately a businessman. Like, Trump obviously inherited a lot of shit.
Yeah.
My only issue is that Andrew Yang says he's going to go after the NRA and get some but who can?
Yeah.
Who can? NRA runs fucking America, man. NRA is the Western equivalent to the Rothschilds, man.
Yeah. Do you think they'll get, like, say Andrew Yang gets presidency, which is great, first Asian in the president.
And we'd all get the freedom dividend, which is $1,000 a month,
supposedly, because
$1,200 for some.
When he was asked about that question, he had no answer to it.
For what?
For not universal income.
The gun control?
No, about giving everybody money.
Yeah,
You know,
he's had nothing but
like,
answers. What do you mean?
it would. Well, he was asked during the debate, and he was like, "Hey," the moderator said, "Hey, that's going to cost like some odd trillions of dollars. How are you going to get that money?"
Mm.
And he was like, he
That's
just
not what I
froze.
saw. That's not what I saw.
Are you sure?
In the same debates,
Yeah.
he explicitly explained how that money isn't going to go anywhere. The minute, like, we're worried about where are we going to find the money, we already are using the money. It's just being misused.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything different. Like, I'm not making a case for him.
I totally agree with that. It just kind of weird that he didn't say that. Hey, we spend billions of dollars on the military. We're just transferring.
That's where I'm getting it from.
Okay.
What happens is that a lot of the times, and people don't know this, man, the way things are working now, TV can control shit like that. I know because look, I was on a TV show once for a singing competition.
Yeah.
And what I filmed and what they later did in post, where they had people, they reenacted their reactions to my performance.
Yeah.
I was there, I saw it. Yeah. And then instead because I didn't win, they made it look like I lost even worse than I actually did.
Okay.
And it's fucked up, man, because they can control the narrative. So if you saw the debates post live, then what you ended up seeing was a cut where they probably took a moment where he was actually listening to someone, but they kept the audio running. You're a video editor now, but they kept the audio running of everything else, making it look like he didn't have any answers.
So I'll have to go back and rewatch a live footage. But do you think I can find a live
footage?
Well,
that's what I'm saying, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens.
Okay.
And they can, and especially if it was like a Fox News thing or something, they can control the narrative, man.
So do you think
it's not even a conspiracy? They're just trying to keep the people who pay their dollars happy.
Okay. Do you think they'll get to him? He becomes president, and the family and NRA go, "Hey, do what we say, or you're gonna have trouble." And he goes, "No, I'm gonna go against you guys."
I think he can afford to say no.
Okay, I will be on the fence about that because I honestly feel that a lot.
The good news is that Elon Musk actually gave him a shout out and is actually rooting for him to win.
Oh yeah, because I
mean, people would want to see Elon Musk run for president, man. Some people would actually want to see that.
I wanted to see Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert become president. Jon Stewart would take it over. I mean, he's still trying hard to get funding for the 9/11 first responders, and this is how I'm not surprised about when I hear stuff that they're doing, in the higher ups, the 1% stuff, is because these people helped people during 9/11. Whether you think it was fake or not, the point is a lot of people got cancer in the lungs and are dying and stuff like that just for helping people. And Jon Stewart's like, hey, the government's supposed to give a certain amount of funding for these people that help. Policemen, firefighters, stuff like that, still not getting the funding. And he's lobbying to get that funding. The fact that he's been lobbying since
it fucking happened.
I know, long ass time. And they haven't been given that small chunk of money to help them, has me not surprised at all when I hear some wild, crazy shit that they're doing, for kicks.
And my concern with all these things that we're talking about is, and I know Joe would roll his eyes and argue here, is there's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right?
I've seen that,
by Stephen Covey. Mm-hmm. And one of the tenets that they share is, you have your circle of influence and your circle of concern. And often our circle of concern, like world problems, like we're talking about now, conspiracies and, whatever realities we're faced with, they're outside of our circle of influence to some degree. Mm-hmm. And the more we spend our time worried about these things and the less that we work on our circle of influence, the further away we'll be and remain from ever being able to actually influence those things.
Yep.
Right? Now, most people, man, just like me, as soon as they watch a documentary like that, are going to go right back to eating their fucking slices of pizza.
I would say more than 70% of America.
And just going on with their fucking lives, right? Because who has the fucking time and who has the dime?
Well, I mean, look at when shit happens, major shit, people still go to work the next day. I mean, for example, as we were talking about briefly on 9/11, people still went to work the next day in the city of New York.
Oh, let me not even get started. Dude, in New York, I witnessed someone jump in front of a train at 6 a.m. on my way to work. And everybody was like, oh shit. And even me for a second, I was like, wow.
And then people just went on the train.
And then it dawned on me that this train wasn't going to go anywhere for a while. I had to jump a couple blocks down to catch another train, the D train instead of the 2 or 1, just to get to work on time.
Right.
Because somebody was so depressed that they offed themselves.
Right.
And you're right.
Right.
This because we're all kept on such a short leash financially that sad things like that we can't afford.
And even distance wise, people. I mean, let's just go all the way
Flint,
across
Michigan. Even
I mean,
I'm not stopping my drinking water. Isn't that crazy?
Right.
And like, it's sad when I say that because I don't think anybody else is either.
And just think not just in the U.S., but who the fuck's gonna care in like Africa or Europe or Russia? They don't. They never even heard of anybody here in the United States. So all the tragic stuff that happens here, nobody gives two shits on the other side of the world, and vice versa.
There's even family that you probably don't give a shit about. You're like, oh, they're like two cousins removed, but they're your blood, and they're going through like money problems. And you're like, well.
And so that's how I can see how a lot of these people in the higher ups can get away and do what they will.
Because what the fuck do they care? We're not their blood.
And they know, and I think they know that. They know that a lot of people aren't going to care. Certain people might, but as long as the ones that won't get in the way of what they're doing, then they're going to keep running with it.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's something where it's like there's too many people on this planet. I don't know. I mean, some people were talking about.
Are you into depopulation, Cianan?
I don't know what it. I mean, I had a conversation with a coworker because I mentioned a statement.
If you were in the inner circles of this government,
dude, I do so much wild shit.
And they told you that depopulation is a must. Would you engage with it?
I would first make sure that you and Joe are on there so that I can continue the podcast by myself. Welcome on. This is the only business podcast.
Wow, Cianan.
No, I always did think about what would I be doing if I was in that crazy inner circle of just wild shit.
Like, I don't know if I could be that unfair, man.
Well, it takes a certain person.
You can't just choose your favorite people and be like, I fuck everybody else.
Shit, there's a lot of people like that. And a lot of people are like that, and they are very nice and kind with kind faces, and then they walk away and like, put you on their hit list. Like it's
straight wolves.
It's people. This is all people.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, this is who we are. If anybody wants to deny it, then something's wrong with you because this has been in us since the moment we were put on this planet.
You've had a penis in your ass.
It's about this big. It's about the size of the microphone. No, but shit. I was gonna brush on something too about it's just the things that we. I was talking to my coworker about the statement or the line that was said in the movie The Matrix, where Morpheus was cuffed and he was in chains, and Agent Smith was telling him how he feels about the human race. I mean, this is a computer telling a human being how he views us.
Oh, the artificial intelligence?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be scripted, though, man.
Well, it is scripted. I mean, it was written by, Wachowski brothers. Is that how you pronounce it? Wachowski brothers? Yeah. But the thing is that the line was, one of the statements in the line was something about how, humans are a virus. We go from one place to another and we multiply. We destroy everything in that area.
And Joe Rogan has said something.
And then we move on to the next area and multiply again. And it's something that I can see how they came to that line written in that movie, because when you look at our history, you see us we put nice terms and words for it, but we migrate and we settle and we which
is really colonization.
Yeah. And once we do our settling, we technically breed, which is what we use for animals, but for us, we give birth and we populate.
Our bacteria is no different, man. I mean, on an atomic and nuclear,
that was the relationship between
level,
us. We are.
Yeah.
If you pick us as a particular type of molecule, what would it be? It'd be a virus. Yeah. It would be a cancer, basically, which is sad to say, but
we attack other living things for our survival.
And and I have a friend who I follow, and they are big into planet Earth and the ocean and everything that's involved with the ocean. And so they post constantly about how destructive we are, the trash, the pollution, everything, on a daily basis. And it's like, I mean, we talk about global warming, but I think a lot of things are going to hit us first. So we're going to get issues with water. Yeah. We're going to get issues with trash. Yeah. We're going to get issues with trees. And then eventually we burn and die. But it's like at the point where it becomes catastrophic, will we already have the technology to be on another planet? And when we get to another planet, are we just going to just repeat the same thing we did here? Who knows? I mean, it's could be predictable. Like you can follow the patterns and say yes, or you can say there might be a miracle and say no.
It's gonna be crazy, man.
But what if somebody finds us first and then does to us what we do to ourselves? And then the things that
You
happen.
mean like aliens?
Possibly, I was trying to use words that were.
We're always coming back to aliens, man. I'm surprised we
It's the
haven't had.
time. It's the time. I need to meet one for
Okay,
it's too late.
okay. So if we had to look at our life
hmm
for what it really is,
And this goes to everybody out who's listening to
yeah,
this.
and we didn't bring in the idea of uh, a god or aliens,
Oh, okay. Okay.
or any conspiratorial figures.
That would be us in our caveman years. Yeah.
right? Just no outside influences. If we could just look at our lives as individuals
Mm-hmm.
and look at, and we took responsibility for everything that happened for the most part,
Okay.
would you be okay with accepting where you are right now?
As a human being,
Like don't blame the government, don't blame any god.
well,
or
I try
misfortune,
not to these days to not blame anybody but myself. I do see and watch a lot of successful things happening, and sometimes reflect on my past and go, "Damn, I need to do something. I'm not doing something." Probably one of the main reasons why I'm video editing, audio editing, building stuff for theater, and not getting paid for it. Doing a podcast, doing all this
and
other
not
stuff.
getting paid for
I
it.
know. I figured I just
I
throw
saw
that
how
in.
you omitted
I
that. You actually said it, but I
because
saw
we
it.
mentioned it before in a couple episodes back, so I figured I'd toss that in. But no, it's all the stuff that I'm doing now is probably a good reason as to me thinking like, shit, I'm not doing much. I'm 30 something years old. Life is gonna eventually catch up to me. So it's like by the time I'm 60, 70, I want to be able to look back and say, ooh, I did that.
Damn.
But if I'm not, then what
Well,
the fuck am I doing?
okay? So what's one thing on your list that you've done, and you can return the question to me. What's the one thing on your list that you haven't done that you want to do, but that you should have done a long time ago?
Uh, I would say that would be to fully design a ride from start to finish. I've been designing roller coasters in second grade, but I haven't fully finished a lot of the rides.
Like on Roller Coaster Tycoon or something?
No, on paper, like drafting, actually 3D modeling every single detail of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
That was my idea, to make it, finish it, and actually submit it.
Right.
You can't really submit rides to roller coaster companies outside of the company. You kind of have to already be in there.
Yeah.
Oh well, but
But
at
to
least
have the schematics.
but to have at least have it and say that I did it and then submitted it, that would be one thing.
And is it like a fear of just will someone not like it that's holding you back, or is it just because you feel like once you finish it, what else is left?
Two things. I always seem to get interested in something else real quick that I'm more excited about and that I think I can get done and is tangible.
Immediacy, yeah.
And then the other thing is when somebody sees
instant gratification.
pretty much when somebody sees an idea of mine and they like it, a part of me goes, well, shit, somebody saw it. It's as if I already made it. So maybe I'll just move on to the next thing.
Mm,
And that kind of kills it because a lot of times,
you're satisfied.
this is like, oh, Joe, check this out. Philly, check this out. Oh, that's really cool. When is it going to be made? I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Right.
And then it doesn't really matter.
I do that a lot, man. I mean, think of
Mhm.
like, it's no secret. I've tried to be an actor. I've tried to be a musician,
Mhm.
entertainer, right? I've made crazy claims like I want to be president, and I've tried getting involved in all kinds of shit. And somehow I got a breadth of talents and skills, but nothing is finished,
Yeah.
right? Like most creative people or what have you.
Yeah. I think I noticed it and I don't know. Paint this is either good or bad, but my parents knew about it a long time ago. They got really pissed at me. But I would buy a lot of model toys that I would have to build myself
Right.
since kindergarten. So my parents knew that I was a creative person and wanted to make things.
Right.
But my model toys, which are military stuff, planes, helicopters, whatever, never got completed. I would
That was
build
like
it.
half done.
I would build it all the way to the end, but I would never paint it, never put on the decals. I would just start playing with it. And then my dad and sometimes my mom would get really upset that I wouldn't fully finish it.
Right.
But I would always admire my uncle's model planes because he would fully finish it with paint and everything.
Yeah.
And that's a weird, interesting sign that I didn't pick up till later. That I wish I should have known back then. Like Cianan is not someone who finishes. Hey, ladies. Yeah.
No. I think guys misunderstand. They want you to finish,
just
not
quick.
before them.
I heard a statement that counteracts that, but again, this was one lady, and she was a porn star, so I'm not sure if that counts. But she says she likes it when she gets the guy to come first because that makes her feel like she's good at fucking.
Everyone has different thresholds for confidence levels, and what makes them feel like what feeds their self-worth. Right?
Well, that kind of works for me too. I actually enjoyed making my.
You're like, I don't mind coming for.
Oh no, I like it when I make somebody may come before I do because I come really quick.
I know this is a little off topic, but it's sort of connected to what we're talking about here. I saw a meme that said it was crazy. One of my friends that I follow, she had a post where it said like most boys, like specifically instead of men, most boys.
Well, I like the way she started out. Most, she didn't say all.
Yeah, most boys just don't want to have sex with you. They just want to use your body to masturbate.
Ooh, shit! Damn, that's rough.
And you know what that means, right? Like
it's objectifying.
Yeah,
right?
like when you're in the act, you're just pumping just to get it off and you're done, as opposed to being involved and like engaged and like actually having.
And I like the way she said most because for me,
the minute someone says all,
I know. Well,
like, hey, what about me?
But the thing is, I like touching the hair and the arms, and it's mostly called foreplay. But I would kiss all over, grab, move, mush, whatever, squish together. Not very good at talking dirty. I can most of the time, but it's like. If talking dirty gets you
heard it here first, folks. He needs sexting and dirty talk tips.
I can do it, but during the actual act of, it's like my mind's trying to go all over the place. Now you want me to actually talk to you?
Well, there are some that get off on that.
But like I said, most. Not all.
So this goes back to, have you ever taken the test 5 love languages?
I heard of it, never took it.
There's a lot of people that have taken it, and you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at what you could learn from those about yourself. Jesus. You know what I mean? This is Cianan. While you're looking for information on your phone, let's
because I wanted to show you something you were talking about.
Stay on topic.
Oh, god dang it. There was a post somebody made that I wanted to show you that you were talking about the
boys and
the boys. And I can't find it.
This podcast isn't the same without Joe adding his own. No. I'm not saying
Joe
it's bad.
Doesn't add any value to this podcast. He's a piece of shit, and he should stay in San Francisco.
What? But at the same time, I am glad that people because this is shit we talk about even when the mics aren't on.
No, this is what makes this podcast great, is because people think we're just doing this. Or may think we're just doing this just to get views or whatnot or sound silly.
But this is just us with the way we hang out, but with the mics on.
All the stuff that I say that people think that I'm just trying to get some rouse or funny or doing this or that I don't talk like
for
this.
shock factor. No, that's just you all the time.
If you talk to me outside of the podcast, it's
in
worse.
fact, we were roasting so hard before we even started recording.
We did. It was great.
It's a little ridiculous, man, but
yeah.
Got stretch fucking my neck. Been sitting in front of a computer for too long.
Need some help with that stretch?
Oh, Cianan, if you could just reach over.
I have long arms. I could stroke while rubbing your back.
God. Do you actually listen to any other podcasts, Cianan?
Yep. Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Joe Budden, a little bit. Joey Diaz.
Matt Flavors of the world,
and
all right, cocksuckers.
Exactly. And Brett. I can't pronounce his name. I cannot pronounce his name. But
Kaufman? Brian Kaufman?
Brett Cushing. He's the one that takes off his shirt during the comedic on stage. He's the one that anyway.
Wow, I didn't know you got down like that.
It's
Cianan.
a comedian, guys. You know. Godfrey, I listen to his podcast.
Godfrey has a podcast?
He does. In God We Trust. And Tom Segura. Ooh, I hope I pronounced your name right. Segura. He is funny as fuck, and I started listening to his podcast, and I like listening because he's on there with his wife.
You ever heard the Mark Maron podcast?
Oh, yep. Listen to that. Gonna watch next season 4 of Glow. Can't wait.
What about Armchair Experts? Have you ever heard of that one?
I want to say yes.
With Dax Shepard?
Yes.
Yeah. I like sex.
Yeah. And then
sounds like he's always just like holding water. And he's like,
if you're listening to Dax, we love you. But no, I listen to. It turns out I listen.
What about the Anna Faris one?
Anna Faris has her own podcast.
Unqualified, yeah.
No, I don't. No,
yeah, it's dope. Definitely check it out.
Yeah,
it's just funny because like I'm a fan.
Sorry, Nikki Glazer. You up with Nikki Glazer? I listen to that too. She's a comedian. I listen to a lot of comedians' podcasts because they tend to throw some humor in it. I don't because listening to NPR and stuff related to that is just.
Although most of my clients who like want to start a podcast or whatever, they tend to want to follow the example of NPR, but they not only don't have they have the ambition to have a podcast like that, but they don't have the will, because it's not just like, like where we push record and then, for the most part, it's good.
Hey, it's on. The light's on. Just making sure. We did have a moment where
yeah. So for the most part, that's that, right? But with NPR, they go out in the field, they interview people, they come back, they edit it, then they add their voiceovers and their investigative journalism about it all, and then they choose different songs for every like other 10 minutes to add emotional. It's like fully produced.
Yeah, and
they make one a month.
Yeah, well, we're doing it like 4 times a month.
Right. And is it just funny? Like, not only my clients, but most people in general probably have no idea of how much. Your ambition has to match your work ethic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at us coming here every fucking Sunday. I mean, how come we're not doing that for the other stuff we're interested in?
Do you know why?
Besides work.
You want me to tell you why it's easier?
Because I like you and you're fun. And I like, hey.
Well, that's part of it. No, but in a real sense, because it's collaborative. Straight up.
We've done some collaborative stuff that we weren't really eager to go to.
Because the roles weren't clearly defined. Cianan?
This is what you were talking about before. So, what is our role?
Well,
tell me what my role is, Philly.
No. So it's not a role in the sense like, oh, here's the director, here's the producer.
Yeah.
No,
I am the producer.
No. Yeah, Cianan's a producer, guys. Cianan is a producer.
I am Queens Boulevard.
Oh man,
are we gonna get sued for that?
With your entourage references and shit.
That's the only one I know.
Even though you're more like Turtle or Johnny Drama, actually. You're more like Johnny Drama.
Probably Johnny Drama. Yeah.
What I'm saying is like because no one else here can be you in the literal sense of what it is you just naturally bring, right? Okay. Just like with Joe, just like with me for the most part, right? So because of that, it's easy for us to keep coming back to this because all we got to do is show up and be ourselves.
Right.
So you got to play our role.
Okay. So,
but when we do other projects,
you're not yourself.
You're not yourself, or you don't know who you are in this project, and that's why things fall apart. Sometimes you start off being one person, and as your project progresses, you guys both change, or all 3 of you change, or all 4 however people involved, and then you're no longer the same people. So your roles aren't no longer relevant to who you are, and you have to have those. You have to revisit that. So there's a lot of people that are in relationships who are no longer who they used to be, right? And because it's not clear on who's who and what position is what and where they stand and what their wants are now and what their needs are, people end up starting to have communication arguments. People are only as needy as their unmet needs. And if you haven't stated your needs, how is someone supposed to be able to support your needs or support you to get what you need, and vice versa? But more often than not, it's easy for us to say like, yo, I'm trying to have that cookie. Or I want that last slice, right? Yeah. As boys, we're talking shit. Girls will do the same thing with their girls. But the minute you get into something where it's like, it's in a relationship.
Do you want the last slice? No, you can have it.
Right.
You sure?
When you know that they actually mean, oh, no, like it's almost a formality.
Yeah.
Right? When they should just be honest.
Yeah.
It's like saying, well, what do you want to eat? I don't know, whatever. And then you take them somewhere and they
like,
say,
why are we here? I'm not that
exactly.
Yeah. That's why we should join the family and they do what we tell them to.
I can't believe you just said that. You misogynistic, sadistic son of a bitch.
So if any of the...
I take that back. Whoa.
If any of the families out there
If the
We're-
family
we're
is
looking
listening,
to join.
all you have to do is ask us
Yeah.
to petition. I'll use Keenan as my reference. Nobody is a crazier son of. I feel like if they actually approached you, you would join and you would just never come back.
And you wouldn't see me again. Like, what happened to Keenan?
Like, I don't know.
leave
He
a
ran
little
off with
note.
his rich friends.
I'll leave a tiny little note. Just
Hey, Keenan,
little
if I told you
breadcrumb.
that I now have a friend who has a mansion and he's rich and
I'd be really upset. I'd be like,
and I
hey.
haven't invited you.
Oh, you're invited. You just don't like them.
Oh no, Keenan, you've never invited me, Keenan.
I don't invite people who don't like going. You don't like if you don't like my surrounding, why would I invite you?
So that's basically the reason why you're not going to be able to come to my new friend's house.
Fuck you.
My internationally known,
That's
famous,
because
and wealthy friends.
I have to, if I never initiated that I didn't like them, then you have to invite me. But if I said I didn't like them,
you don't have to do shit, Keenan. All right, let's put a poll out there for the listeners. How often?
Do you like
how
Keenan?
do you know when you should introduce your friends to some of your new friends?
okay, because that's a good subject or topic to ask, because there's been a lot of situations where I don't get introduced. Oh no, I
introduced you to like 1% of the people I know, Keenan.
well, I'm just saying, like, a lot of times when people introduce me to somebody, they'll say, they don't know who you are, so just tone down, blah 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 blah, and such.
That's a good point.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
That's a good point.
Why would you introduce me to somebody if I have to now be something else? And
did you ever feel like you had to apologize for one of your friends like in advance?
only once, because they said the N-word in front of another black person. I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
then the black person thought I was responsible for this. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, but I probably should. But it's just like,
Are we talking about Joe?
no. Joe says the N-word every no, it's somebody else. But
I can't even believe like anybody who isn't black thinks they can even say it, but that's just me. Like,
Dude,
even if you grew up in the hood and you're probably like,
even
it's
if
not
you
a
married,
political thing. It's like
girlfriend,
you're not black. You know what I mean?
I say I go take it further. Even if you're half, if you're mixed, that doesn't mean you can,
Even if you're mixed.
Yeah, I am coming from somebody like, no matter what, black or not, you probably really shouldn't say something like that, especially.
But is it for political correctness, or is it just like what's the fucking point?
Well, it's just like tossing around I would say any curse word, in the sense of, let's say, for instance, you say fuck all the time. Everywhere you go, you say fuck, fuck, fuck. Eventually, people are going to be like, why are you saying that? Like, I'm tired of hearing you say that. Say something else.
Right.
Why is that your go-to?
Okay.
That's my saying, because I hear it so often, like it is the word the or and. It's like, come on.
People say
The N-word, all the time.
It's also like there are some people who just don't know how to say it too. Like,
even that's what I'm saying. Even if it's the intention of the word behind it, and it's the meaning of the word of how you use it. So if you're using it as an adjective or verb or noun or whatever, just
use an adjective, verb, or noun. Yeah, don't use that.
Like, if that's the go-to, that shows
that's just being lazy
and ignorant and unintelligible to know that you have a wide vocabulary in your brain. And you only use that one word to describe it.
Intelligible probably wasn't the word.
I know.
There,
I like making up words.
But I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. The point is that it's just said so much that I kind of want to hear something different.
Absolutely.
Give me another racial slur, and then
it should be like, floopy. My floopy. Yo, floopy. Yo. And when they did that,
floopy,
I was like, floopy.
Man, fuck you, floopy.
Exactly.
No, but
it's my floopy right here.
Us floopies go way
with
back.
the flim flams.
No, it's just
I just like to squanch. You know what I mean? I like to squanch with my flim flam.
Are you putting in some Rick and Morty? I can't wait. I can't wait for that shit.
So you gotta get swifty. You know what I mean?
Swifty. No, I was hoping to finish off.
Whoa! Don't squanch in front of me like that, Kenan.
No, it was shit. We were just brushing up with something. I was gonna give you my lasting thoughts.
Don't give me any fucking thing, Kenan. I don't want anything from you, especially when you say it like that.
Oh, it was fuck you.
Give me your lasting thoughts.
Whatever.
You mean your final thoughts on the matter?
The point is, what I'm trying to say.
Your lasting
Joe,
thoughts?
we need you back because now Philly's out of control.
Kenan's like, I need an adult.
You're supposed to be.
Oh, right.
No,
Supportive.
I'm saying the lasting statement I was going to make on this subject about
Closing statement.
introducing friends and being yourself and racial slurs and stuff. I was a good friend of mine was introducing me to these two older couples that were apparently very supportive of the black movement, and was like,
were they black?
Some no, they were white.
Okay.
Some in the sense of like, they almost to the case
they were part of like a family of the Underground Railroad,
or something like that, or like they're part of the Black Panther Party or something like that. Like
they still don't have a right to be like nigga.
Well, the point is, I was told not to say that word. I rarely say it, but I was told not to say it around them. I was like, you want me to not say the N word around these white people who apparently help black people throughout history,
right? Especially as if part of like the Black
as
Panther
if they
Party,
are black. And I was like, I appreciate the support, but you know, they can kiss my black ass. They can help, but
see,
they
that
can't
term never goes out of style. That's
kiss
bad.
my black ass.
It's like some Wesley Snipes shit. You can say that and just be badass. I can't say that. It doesn't sound the same when I'm like, kiss my brown ass. Like, there's no power behind it.
Something with pleasure.
Right. But when you like kiss my black ass, it's like damn.
He means it.
Yeah. You see, there's no power. You could be like, well, there's even power when you're like, kiss my white ass. But if you say kiss my brown ass, we're like, well, you're brown. Nobody gives a fuck about you. You see our struggle, Keenan, the brown people struggle.
You've had brown people, the Latino Hispanic community.
Latino, we're Latino intolerant. That should be if you're mixed, there should be a Latino, right? Instead of Blacktino, it's Latino.
Anyway,
pero papá, dime lo que está pasando.
It was just I was weirdly offended for somebody to tell me to not act ghetto or black or say anything.
They told you don't act black
in front of these white people who were part of the helping out the black community. I was like,
that's some straight get out shit.
Or it's just like, what nerve do you have as a white couple
also,
to tell me how to act my racial stereotype?
Yeah. Also, I mean, you don't even have that demeanor to begin with, though. You're pretty.
It comes out.
I mean,
occasionally.
Yeah,
you know.
but for the most part, you're just a stand-up dude. Like, there's
just a regular white guy for you.
There's nothing about you that I'd be like, damn, like I better watch out. Keenan's good. But
I'll say some racist shit about my own.
But
race.
I've been in the hood where like it doesn't have to be. It's not about the color of skin. There is just certain culture habits that people have where it's like, when they got the bottle of Hennessy, and whether it's not just black people. There's Latinos. There's Asians.
There was a straight. I don't know the terminology, so I'm gonna butcher this, and the Latin community can get at me if you want. But I think the term is not Chicano. What's it called? A cholo, something like that. This dude I was at. This is real. I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to be racist, but I was at a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And this dude walked up, but he had the beaner over his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He had
the beanie, you mean?
The beaner.
The
oh my God. Oh my God.
Fuck. I'm over here trying to defend the rights of colored people, and you came at me like that. So he had the beaner over his eyes.
No, my God. Oh, I'm going to hell. All right. Well,
so he had the beaner over his eyes.
Apparently, I'm going to get jumped by every Hispanic person on my way home tonight.
The essays are coming after you, bro.
Oh, God.
Straight up, vato.
Well, it's a good thing I live in a white neighborhood now before it's too late.
Chales, vato. Chales.
Help me, Latin community for
I thought you were a down ass vato, but now I can see you're just a leva.
I love Latin women. Come on. No.
Hey, vato, stay away from my rucas. Stay away from my rucas.
Which really sucks. But we'll get on that subject real quick. I just want to finish. He had
the beanie over his eyes.
He had a beanie over his eyes.
Like he looked like a straight up like this. Like they call them sock people.
Well, the toys or the little
the cholos, the homies,
the homies. And he had his pants. I kid you not, they were extremely baggy,
like waist high baggy, with the socks all the way up.
He had the top one button up shirt with the wife beater,
the cholo uniform. Yeah,
I kid you, and the way he talked a little bit was like that, and he had the mustache handlebar.
Yeah.
I was like, it was like I was kind of. I don't like it when people do this for our race, but I was kind of upset for the race of the Latin community to see this go down. And it's like, I feel like it's a misrepresentation. Same thing with my community. I feel like it's a misrepresentation.
Was it Chris Rock that said it? Where Chris Rock was like, even black people don't like
black people,
niggas.
Yeah, exactly.
And forgive me for saying it, like that. That's literally what he says. Right?
Yeah. There's two separate categories. And he's not lying. It's very funny. Black families will talk about their cousins or uncles or whatever, like that,
And the same goes for like at least me. Like if anyone in my family was super choloed out, like
they would say something.
I would likely not hang out with them because it's not my culture.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're a walking stereotype, and that's fine if that's really who you are. But if you're portraying it,
ironically, those two stereotypes tend to engender violent interactions.
Right. It's
because of the level of machismo or antagonistic energy that is behind that type of culture and uniform.
And people would see it, and they would automatically put you in that category as, oh, you're one of them. When it may not be true.
I don't stay away from that because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be labeled. I genuinely, look, I can hang out with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had my choice, the only reason I wouldn't be spending time with a lot of people who tend to be from the hood like that is mostly because at one point or another, they'll either be too high or too drunk to notice that they're beginning to create problems for people.
Right. And
I don't care where you're coming from, who you are, where you're from. I don't care who you are, where you're from, as long as you don't fight me.
Or we get sued for you singing the song.
I just don't. My biggest pet peeve is people who start fucking fights when you're around.
I know. And the drunk people, oh my God.
That's why I don't like drink, especially not with people who are out drinking.
Do people fight when they're high, like smoking weed? Do weed people fight? I don't think weed people fight.
No, weed people don't fight.
It's like drunk.
But it's rare that you'll find a person who only smokes weed.
Yeah, true.
They're always like mixing it with some other shit, and like it's always the other shit that
it's usually Coke and alcohol.
Yeah, Coke, or they'll take like NyQuil, like create some scissor or some codeine.
I never did that.
Some other shit. I mean, I get it, man. Drugs are the first Instagram filter that our lives have ever had.
Now you say Instagram filter because you mentioned this several times about drugs being an Instagram filter. You're saying that as if it's like a filter over your eyes of the world while you're high.
Yeah, it allows you to deal with life. And look, I'm not saying, like, I don't want people to misunderstand my position on this and how I'm so standoffish to people who come from that background. Because I mean, I came from that background. I'm from East LA. At some point I was living there, and I had to deal with people. You lived in the hood. Deal with people who were like trying to fight you and jump you into a gang and shit like that. I'm glad
I lucked out. So this is maybe what benefits from my white voice is that nobody came and asked me to join a gang or anything
because
like
of your
that.
white voice.
Yeah, they would hear me talk and be like, "No, we'll ask him to help us bail us out or something." But he don't want to be a part of us.
Damn.
No, it was because I grew up, contrary to popular belief of hearing this on the podcast, but I was not only born in Oakland in
the hood,
black area of Oakland, but my family and I lived in Linwood. After Linwood was Compton. After Compton, and we're talking like in the heart.
You've always been in the hood.
Yeah, I'm not on the edge of these cities. I'm literally in the middle of these cities.
And you turned out just fine.
Yeah, Compton. Then
I mean,
Inglewood.
you got a porn problem.
Oh, whatever. Hey, porn is not no. We'll talk about porn later. You're trying to get me off the subject. Linwood, then Compton, then Inglewood, then South Central.
Thousands of babies have died in your hands, Cianan.
Oh my God.
Do you ever think about that? I often think about
because I'll masturbate tonight. I don't give a fuck. They don't know me.
I ain't their daddy. God, you quite literally are.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Same. And again,
you ever get it on your hands by accident and keep going?
Not to finish. Not to leave my point incomplete. I don't want people to misunderstand my position when it sounds like I'm bagging on people like this. I'm not. But what I'm saying is because I grew up around that and was constantly then put in a position where I had to like fend for my safety.
Mm-hmm.
I've just grown into a person who prefers, like, it's not that I don't, life has enough fucking problems for you to be creating more problems on top of that. And I feel like anybody who makes someone else suddenly responsible for your well-being and theirs is a fucking asshole.
And a lot of people do it without any care whatsoever.
Straight, there's homeboy who fucking moves. Like, well, that sounds like your fucking problem. And you got to find a better way of dealing with it than
right.
Than
Same thing
punching
with
somebody or shooting somebody, especially like that.
In relationships with if some dude messes with your girl, you rather, start throwing out bullets at people. And you're very attached. We're very attached. Obviously, I understand it, but it's like you're ready to kill someone and not worry about going to jail for the rest of your life.
When we all know that the ultimate revenge is to get into better shape, to get a lot more money,
and fuck somebody else,
and go find someone who's a lot more attractive. Those are obviously they're more devastating blows than shooting someone or hurting someone. And don't even get me started on men who think it's okay to hurt women.
Well, that's the thing. I've ran into situation myself and heard situations from other people where the guy would get upset about his girl cheating when he's cheating too. It just like for me, because I don't cheat, I definitely would not like to have a person which I would rather have, and it's very weird for people to understand this, but I would rather have my girl tell me, hey, I'm breaking up because I'm about to fuck this other dude. And then I would be upset and be like, oh, that's, but then I wouldn't be as hurt as if they stayed with me and fucked somebody else.
Because of the deception.
Right. It's a whole lot easier. And, if that situation ever happened to me, I would be willing to be like, hey, I'm leaving you because I want to fuck this person too.
Right.
I'll be a real asshole. But
what if there was somebody who had a relationship where whenever they felt like they wanted to go fuck somebody, they'd be like, hey, I'm not in love with them or anything, but I really want to fuck them.
I would say that's pretty much.
Would you still be with that person?
Nope. If you want to fuck somebody else, go fuck them. But you cannot.
Then come back to me.
Yes, you cannot come back to me and go, hey, boo, or even try to not seduce, but to in a way where you come back and go, I'll still,
be like friends with benefits type thing.
Well, no, like I'll be your lady, I'll take care of you, I'll cook for you, I'll do all these things for you that you always wanted. I just let me go and have sex with this guy, and I'll still do everything that you want. It's like, no, that's not.
You want complete, like,
I'm
just between us.
Yeah, because I'm a very loyal person, not just with relationship, but with friends too. I'm very loyal with my friends.
Which I've had a lot of friends, Cianan. So you're not. I'm sad to say that you're not my only friend. So sorry.
I don't care.
At first you were like, "Where are you going with this?"
I know, like what?
No, I get it.
No, but that's the thing. It's like if
do you get jealous of friends though? Like in general, like if like you suddenly find out that one of your friends is hanging out with someone else more than you now?
No,
you just be like, I got plenty of fucking friends.
Pretty much, who do all this other stuff. Now, if you're not including me in your stuff,
right?
And you're like
on
Cianan,
purpose?
Yeah, like.
So if I suddenly started posting all kinds of videos of badass shit that I'm doing that I could have totally invited you to but didn't,
and then only if you were like, Cianan, where were you, or
well, I would never do that because obviously, you weren't invited.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, or to get upset if I didn't invite you to something. Yeah. It's like, hey, well, you didn't invite me to any of your shit. Like, what
and
the
then
fuck?
Like out of spite, I don't invite you. Right.
Yeah, it's like, that's just the weird the mindset of people like that. But
coming back to the point
on the subject, if my girl, if I had a girl and she wanted to go fuck somebody else, go do it. Just don't come back to me as if now we're still boyfriend and girlfriend kind of thing.
Do you think that's a good enough reason to break up with someone?
To go fuck somebody else?
Just because they want to have sex with other people?
For me, probably. And here's the reason why I say probably is because in the past experiences, a lot of times the ladies would be like, who are you talking to? Who's that? A lot of I loves you.
Giving you the third degree.
Well, I mean, like if I'm talking to somebody else. But then also, if you're saying I love you a lot, you're my only, you're my one, you're my baby, you're my boo, you're my bae, all this other stuff. I love you, I love you, I love you. And then you go and have sex with somebody else. It's like, how did that I love you part?
Right. And then it's not honest.
Right. And then if I go and do it, and then you're like, hey, I thought you loved me kind of thing. And then it's like, okay, then what's the definition of love and sex? Where is that? You have to define that quickly, or else there's going to be issues.
Can it come across as like possessive? Like personally, and here's why I say
that. Not unless if it's an ultimatum.
I'm a lot like you, where like if someone is interested in somebody else, then just let me know. Like, I don't take it personal. I go,
Just let me know.
Yeah, just let me know so I don't go looking like a fucking fool.
Right. It's almost like not swingers, but in the sense of like, well, maybe there's something of swingers where
The
they're still
movie?
together, but they fuck other people.
Yeah.
That's not a uncommon thing.
Sometimes they fuck people together.
Right. And I'm just not a swinger. I
Swing.
yeah, I would have no problem doing 3 ways and 4 ways or a massive ass orgy. I don't care, but I can't be with somebody while I'm doing it. And it goes to even as far as I talk about going to strip clubs all the time, and I've been to strip clubs. But
if you had a girlfriend, would you give up strip clubs?
I wouldn't go. I would maybe once. I think I would ask. I was like, "Hey, all my friends are going. Do you want to come with me?"
Right.
And then,
like, if you were gonna go,
and she's like, "No, I don't want to go to those places. I don't believe this." Okay, call up my guys. Hey, I can't go because I don't want.
What if your boys are like, she got you like that?
That's the thing is that unless she went to strip clubs, I will not go to strip clubs. It has to be for me
fully support
a very mutual thing for me.
Right.
Unless if I do it, I would want you to do it so that there's no tension between us.
Right. Well, what if she wants to go to a strip club with guys? Would you? And she invites you.
I think about it. Or like, here's 100, baby. Go enjoy yourself.
So, but you would let her go to a strip club?
Well, the thing is, the difference, it depends on the strip club. Now, I've seen 2 different types
of male strip clubs.
Well, not actually physically. Well, I know of 2 different types.
Yeah.
The thing is that there's one type where the dudes are dancing on stage like Magic Mike.
Yeah.
But they don't come up to you and rub their genitals in your face.
Right.
Girls at strip clubs where girls are strippers, they do lap dances.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do lap dances at male strip clubs. Now,
I'm pretty sure they do.
I would say they do. I thought so. But according to one of our
that's
friends.
The point of a strip club, I think.
According to one of our friends or girlfriends, friends that are girls, they told me they've been to some male strip clubs and they don't do that.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then here's the kicker. Now, this could be just a porn thing. I have no idea if this is true or not.
Right.
But there's certain porn where there's girls that looks like a bachelorette party at a male strip club, or they hire a male stripper, and the stripper's fucking the girls, multiple girls or just one girl at this bachelorette party. And it doesn't look like it's fake. It probably is because a lot of people.
It's porn.
I know, and some people say all porn, like 90% of porn is fake. But there's something about these videos where the girls in the background,
they legit look like they're
foreground, they look like they're at a strip club.
Yeah,
and they look slightly uncomfortable to comfortable. Because if they're comfortable, it's fake.
Right.
If they look uncomfortable, oh shit, this might be real. They might be really be fucking.
Right.
Or it's just one of those.
Could you imagine being a fucking male stripper?
I don't know. I thought about
it. Heard you said something about my huevos. Huevos splash, sexy motherfucker. Huevos splash.
Yeah, it was just something where I thought, I
used to tell people I was a male stripper. They always believed me. It's kind of, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, man. I was like,
well, I mean, the thing is that I don't know. If you don't mind. See, the thing is, if you watch sex, you're watching people fuck.
Yeah.
So I don't see how the mental change if you do it in real life.
Right.
You know, I don't know. There'd probably be a difference between digitals on screen at home compared to like a bunch of real people. Like, would I be able to fuck somebody in this room while there's people watching? Depends.
I mean, depends if you're camera shy.
Yeah, but if it's mostly all like, if it's one of these bachelorette parties, it's all women. I don't know. But then the thing is, I'm trying to get slightly serious, is that when I see these things, it does kind of make me concerned. Like, oh, hey,
go ahead and go to the strip club.
Go to the strip club, but do I know it's one of these strip clubs where the guys are actually fucking?
Isn't it weird? Like, we're sitting here and we're like, I'm not gonna go to strip club unless my girl wants to come with me.
Mm-hmm.
But then they could say the same thing. And they're like, oh no, I want to go to a strip club, but I gotta let my guy know he can come with me if he wants. But I don't know of any guys, and this I don't know if there might be, but I don't know of any guys who want to go to a guy's strip club.
Well, it depends because
just to be with their girl. Like at that point, I'd be like, just go, babe.
Honestly, and see, here's the thing where I've seen at other couples who bring their girls to the strip clubs is
those girls tend to like girls though.
Tend to like girls, or they just hang out at the bar.
Yeah.
And the strippers would talk to the girl at the bar, but they wouldn't do any touching or anything like that. And that's where I think I can still be comfortable at a male strip club because I'll just hang out at the bar. One of the
Even though
dudes
they got ashless chaps in
in the background. So one of the dudes may come up and talk to me,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Just be like, oh, sorry, man, not interested.
Yeah. I'm not, I'm not into dudes.
yeah,
I'm just here for my girl.
Yeah.
She's over there having fun, treat her well or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But you would be okay with like, how like, at a female strip club, you've got the breasts
everywhere
being like shaken.
There's a floppy
face,
dick
right?
laying around somewhere.
Yeah.
As long as the dude's dick doesn't touch me.
You're like, I don't want to see a shaboinga. Fucking Martin Lawrence.
It can dangle around and hit their kneecaps.
Oh God.
But as long as it doesn't hit my drink off the table.
I don't know. I ironically, I don't know if I could be the same man. If I see fucking dick touching the knee, I'll be like, oh shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't want to see that in real life.
Because if I watch porn,
it would change me.
I know in real life. That's what I'm saying. The weird mentality of porn in real life. Because if I'm watching porn,
it doesn't even matter.
Somebody's dick is showing in there and going in and out.
Yeah.
So,
but to see it in real life,
it's like, well,
you're like, it is possible. I only thought it was in the movies.
Let me get my ruling. Where's my measuring stick? All right, don't get close to me.
Jeez, man, what do you feed that thing?
You just see it eat peanuts like the dick.
Like an elephant trunk. Starts throwing an apple in the air. Like what? It's like a baby's arm.
But that's the thing, though. I think if the girl was really wanting to go to friends and she says you have to come with me so I can feel comfortable going, I do it for my lady. That's me being supportive. I want to support your happiness and fun stuff. In the same way, not for strip clubs, but let's say there's something else I want to do that's like maybe it's ridiculously nerdy, like some science shit. And she's not really into it. But I'm like, hey, baby, I really want you to be with me while we do this super science stuff.
I get that crossover. I just think that there's more of a taboo with the sex thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, sex is very...
It's a little more complicated. It's nuanced.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you've seen the experience. See, I've been to strip clubs where they don't fuck the guests. Yeah. They might ask, hey, let's go fucking hotel somewhere off, but you can't do it in the club.
While there are some places that...
There might be.
I think just like there's some places where the girls do it at strip clubs, I think there are some places where the guys do it. Yeah.
I just got to make sure it's not one of those places. Then then my girl or wife or whatever can do whatever she wants.
See, and then I go even one step further, man. Like,
not that I have control over my wife. It's like,
right.
She can do whatever she wants. I mean, like I would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, no, you can't do it.
Have you ever felt jealousy?
Yes.
Like while being with someone?
Yes. But I took it in stride in the sense of, I won't say force myself, but my ex is a dancer, salsa dancer, or Latin, merengue, samba, bachata, tango, everything, all those type of stuff. And we would go to the clubs all the time.
Right.
I'm not that well. I can dance, but I can't do the moves that she wants me to do because I'm not
some
a
of those
professional.
dancers are fucking insane.
I'm not a professional dancer. I can just improv.
Yep.
I can do a little something, but
I mean, they start doing that heavy salsa and shit.
And the spin and all that stuff. So a lot of times I think, or I felt that my ex really was disappointed in the fact that she's trying to, Cianan, you got to do the moves like this, and you got to do this. And I'm like, I'm looking around and some of the dudes are just standing in place and just spinning the girl around like mad crazy. I want to do
12
that.
spins.
Yeah, let me do that. It's like, no, you have to learn the basics on stuff. And it's like, I'm doing the basics, but I'm all jittery and because I have to learn special steps.
It's got to become secondhand.
So I even wound up trying to take a class and stuff like that. And it's just, but
it's a lot of work.
In the salsa community, you don't stay with the same partner.
Yeah, you have to switch out
the whole entire night.
Yeah.
So this is where the whole jealousy part came in.
Which must have been news to you. You were like,
no.
You had to dance with some other lady.
I'm fine. No, I'm fine with it. The thing is, and my thoughts are completely different than my reactions. So I might be jealous in my head, but my body and expression and what I talk will not indicate
That's
any
kind of
type
cool
of jealousy.
That you can separate yourself like that.
Yes, because I want the same thing for me. It's all equal for me. So the thing is that as we're switching partners, I'm dancing with other girls, she dancing with other guys. And the guys that are dancing with are doing a really good job. And they're some
They're
will
like
have
really good at
yeah,
it.
they'll have their hand right above her butt. They'll
Yeah.
do some leg action.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because
It's part of the dance.
right. And a little part.
It's an erotic dance.
It's an erotic dance, but the situation of jealousy or confusion I had was that because my lady was a professional at it, she didn't take it as it's a sensual sexual thing, except for the dance move of bachata,
Right.
Or bachata,
Bachata, yeah.
bachata is because that's where they have to really be in close and they're
Yep.
moving their body really.
The dick has to touch the
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So, but all the other styles, she didn't feel so much, even though I knew as a guy what it means to a guy to be dancing with somebody in those styles, including salsa and tango and whatnot. And I would hear the guys talk about, this girl's really hot, or you saw moves I was doing, I could hear them talk about it in the guy circle, the whole quote unquote locker room talk. She doesn't get to hear that. So she doesn't know that that's what guys think or want. Even though I think in her past, she might have hooked up with a guy at one of these salsa stuff. So she has to know. But she acted like she doesn't. So here's the thing about the jealousy part and how
Well, yeah, she probably if she did, she should have probably told you.
Well, yeah, and she only told me about the bachata part. And how that's only for us.
Right.
And so because I pick up on that stuff pretty quickly. So the thing was, in order for me I was still slightly jealous, but only because I wasn't good enough to be the good dancer,
Right.
to be twirling ladies around. That's where the jealousy came apart, especially since the way the guys would touch and hold the ladies. It's like,
You're
come
like,
on.
I want to do that too.
Yeah, it's like these girls are not even giving me a damn handshake, but I can put my hand on your inner thigh when we're doing the salsa.
Right.
So it's like, there was a guy that danced really well with all these ladies, and
he was the man. Yeah.
it seemed like black dude, really good.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I was watching him.
You were like, I want him to move me around.
So my lady at the time, she mentioned about how good his moves were. It's like, you should go dance with him. No, I'm with you and all that stuff. But I can see that she wanted to.
It was like a pity no.
Or it just felt like it. She might have really felt, no, I'm not going to. But I somehow I picked up and felt like she really wanted to.
Yeah.
So
you talked to the guy.
I told the guy. And I don't know if that's a bad ruling or not, but it was like, I was getting frustrated that my girl was saying, I want to dance with him. And you're just sitting there. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So it felt like she was kind of asking me, is it okay?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
You picked up on it.
I felt I did. Maybe I didn't. But
no, some of those things, they're subtle and they don't always want to ask directly.
So I asked him, I'd say, hey, my lady says you have awesome moves. She wants to dance with you. Is that cool?
Which is very gentleman of you, man.
Yeah. And the guy was like, he was shocked. He was like, what? You want me to dance with your hot girl? And I was like, yeah, go do it. So they did, and I watched. But my girl kind of got jealous that I wasn't dancing with somebody else, that I shouldn't be sitting there watching, And I was like, but the thing is, I'm not watching the sexual part. I'm watching his moves because I want to do what he does.
Because you were interested in learning.
Yeah. But it was still, and he did all the stuff, twirled, touched, did other stuff. But she asked me if I was comfortable or if I was jealous. And I said, yeah, I was. But
mostly because you wish you could do those same things.
Yeah. And I also said that,
not so much like, oh, look at him touching my woman.
And I wanted to let her know that I did that so I can overcome whatever
the jealousy you were
of,
feeling.
Yeah. Because what if a guy
That was very Buddhist of you, man.
Yeah.
You were essentially overcoming your fear. You said, you know what? If this is what I'm feeling, I'm about to take it to the next level and show myself that it's not as bad as I think it is.
Right.
And hopefully that the dude that was approached by you saw what it takes for you to be there and be like, yo, dude, hook my girl up with a dance. And to then be a gentleman about it and keep it classy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
some guys don't keep it classy.
And there was one dude there that I was like, there was a dude who's a regular. I was like, man, I hope he doesn't dance with my girl because the way he's dancing, he's really touching these ladies like all over the place. See, I was like, he's getting away with it.
I always give off the impression, anytime I've ever, and it's just a fact, anytime I've ever been in a room where there's a couple and they're even slightly insecure, man, just by me being around, I give off the impression that I'm the unclassy dude that like is gonna fucking Mr. Steal your girl, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Which is fucked up because I would be the opposite. I'd be like, oh, you want me to, all right, man. And I would like keep it as classy as fucking possible out of respect.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there are some dudes that are like, shit, you fucked up, homie.
I know, exactly.
Right? And then, you know.
And the worst part is, in those occasions, sometimes the girl would go home with them and like, what the fuck? And so
it's tough, man.
And the cool thing was, well, not cool, but it was one of those moments. The reason why I did it, because I still do, but I thought my girl was really, really hot. That I was living out that scenario where a lot of dudes would tell me, hey, at least you're the one she goes home with, which is true.
And that is true.
And I didn't get sex that night, which I was hoping for. but the thing was that nobody else knew that unless they listen to this podcast now. But the thing is, all the other guys there saw me go home with my girlfriend.
Right.
And it was really cool because I was living that scenario. A lot of times I would be the single guy at the bar going, man, that would be me. Or I would talk to some girl who I thought was into me, but it turns out she goes home with the dude. And I was like, damn, it could be me. And then that was me. That was pretty cool.
It's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
Because I think it always comes back to like wherever it is people are lacking in life. Like I get like that whenever I'm with someone, let's say, and I meet someone who's like wealthy or rich. And suddenly I'm feeling like fuck, like I already know, like I get insecure.
Oh, okay.
Around guys who have lots of money.
Yep.
Because I know how much respect money can command. However, I also keep faith in that I don't surround myself around people who place that kind of value on money. No matter what people say, like these hoes ain't loyal or whatever.
Right.
Well, that might be true, but maybe you shouldn't be fucking with these hoes.
Right. And there's plenty of men and women who don't cheat, who don't get all crazy.
I'm lucky that I've never been with someone who would be like, well, they got lots of money, so
yeah.
And this comes back to what I'm saying, like I have been jealous before, but I think it's interesting that you handled your jealousy well, because when it happened to me for the first time, when I was like, I think the first time I ever felt truly jealous, I was probably 18, and I had just started a relationship with someone, but I think that my jealousy was placed appropriately because I was with this girl. We just started going out, but we had just made it official too.
Okay.
Right? Girlfriend, boyfriend style or whatever, right? We put the label on it. And then we went to the bank for something. She was getting some money out and some dude walked up to her and like started talking to her, and she started like engaging
right in front of you.
Yeah. Damn. Like I was waiting in the lobby, like by the couch, but I saw the guy walk up to her and start talking to her.
Yeah.
And he put out his hand and like she gave the hand and like they were holding hands for a while they were talking. And in my head, I was like,
what the fuck?
This isn't right.
Right.
Something about this situation is not okay. And part of me wanted to go up and be like, yo, is everything okay over here? But at the same time, something told me it's not my place to walk in and start causing a fucking scene. I could, but I think that's the weaker move. I think the stronger move is to allow the woman that you're with to make the choice and be like, yo, don't touch me.
Because I've seen that. We've all seen stuff like that.
Right.
What are you doing?
But she didn't do that.
I know. And we've seen that too. Like, hey, why aren't you...
And it wasn't the first, obviously that's why it didn't end up working out. But but I never ever brought those things up because it would just be like me throwing it in her face. Yeah. Instead, I'm one of those people that likes to let actions play out. Like if there's a pizza and then somebody doesn't even bother asking or saying, hey, I want to get the last slice, but if somebody else wants it, you better take it now because my ass wants this. Right? I would respect that more than someone who just takes it. Right? Or if I cook and you don't even bother to offer to try to wash the dishes.
Right.
Or, if I'm driving left and right and this and that, you don't even offer gas. Like, it's about the offering. Whether I need it or not is a problem. Like class.
Yeah.
Do people have class? Man?
I don't know if they do. And it's all for mutual respect. Like if I saw my lady, being all, letting this dude caress her hands and be all soft and in his voice and stuff like that.
Like, yeah, what's up, girl?
It would have to be a mutual respect. So 3 weeks pass by, 2 months pass by, some lady starts talking to me and I start doing that stuff to her. My lady can't be like, hey, what are you doing? Or come over. If she comes over and goes, hey, what's going on? Like whether or not you forgot you did that in the past, it's something that sadly, I kind of hold a lot of people too about hypocriticism. You can't go around expecting or demanding stuff for your own
right.
needs and pleasure, but then when you go out and
when
do
you
it,
see
it's
someone
perfectly
else,
acceptable.
and also I think there's something like you can't be vindictive with it either and
Right.
do it on purpose
Right.
just to spite people, right? Yeah.
And that I've seen that happen a lot. It's I mean, I experienced it, I've seen it, I hear about it. It's really sucky, and it just sucks that.
I think it comes down to choosing people properly, man. Like taking the time to really get to know someone.
And then how do you? And then will they change?
Well, like my first criteria, no matter what, if and this is probably going to turn a lot of people off, but I'm pretty snobbish in the fact that if
I know that
if I see. I was gonna sound. I can't believe I'm about to say this.
You know what I said
I know,
for the past hour?
I know. If I'm on Instagram and I turn on the IG stories and I see a girl start twerking like with her friends having fun, right, and they're drinking and they're personally for me, I look at them and I go, well, they're not ready to be in anything serious. That's literally how I interpret that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, because I twerk in my stories.
Right. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there and say like because I look at that as the equivalent of it when us as guys are hanging out and making dick and fart jokes.
Okay.
I literally look at it as the equivalent.
Oh man, we did that the whole first 30 minutes.
But there's something true to that, man. There's a maturity involved.
Yeah.
And you're like, and I think it's also cultural. Like generally speaking, twerking, it's cultural.
Now it is. It was really, and we should probably grab somebody who is a dancer or stripper, a real,
it used to be that
who does that kind of moves, because I always felt that twerking was a stripper move.
Yeah,
like it's always been one, and then it's
making the booty clap,
and then it crossed over in the mainstream.
Yeah,
but you're not thinking yourself, oh, I'm doing stripper moves. I'm doing a dance move. No, lady, you're doing a stripper move.
And I just want to clarify, it's not that I look at them as less than. I just don't desire them as much when I see that.
Oh, we're completely different.
The only reason why is because I don't know. I think I'm a little old school. Like
I don't know if you can twerk and make your butt clap, does that mean you can do that during sex? I don't know if you can.
That's the theory.
You're standing.
That's the theory, Cianan.
You can't stand well, I guess you can, but I meant like.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There are some things that are possible. You know? No, I'm just saying. Like when I just look at it as young.
Old people do it too.
Well, no, I know. Those are people who need to grow the fuck up, in my opinion.
Or hit me up.
and I'm not gonna go back on it.
Like,
Like when I see the IG story and the girls are doing the thing with their girls, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I just make it real clear. Like, that's not for me.
Well, for me, again,
no matter how cute, no matter how smart they may have come across, the minute I see that, for me, anyways, I just look at it and they're like, they're tearing it up, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Go and do that. Be you. Just know that that's not for me.
I just, for myself, want consistency. If you're gonna twerk on camera on Instagram,
you better twerk in the bedroom. You're saying.
Or you better twerk when we're at a club or when we're at the house dancing. If you twerk with your friends and you post it online for everyone to see, and then you and I are at home having fun dancing and you don't twerk.
Is it weird that like I don't find it like I don't
cool.
see twerking like as an attractive thing.
Well, it depends on, if you're single or not.
No. Cause like I was at the studio the other day with my boy, and I told him put on some inspiration in the background. And so and so he put on a 4K HD video on this big ass 70-inch screen that's supposed to be for the mixer. Yeah, and it's just like a girl twerking, and he's like, oh, I'm like, yo, this is on YouTube. This is practically porn. You know what I mean?
That's what's weird about how it's on YouTube. How it's gone so mainstream. Like I say,
as long as they're wearing a thong and it's not completely naked, but you can see that ass clap.
I have to ask some dancers who actually strip at topless or bikini or at full nude bars. Hey, is this move a stripper move before it ever became popular? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes.
And keep in mind, like I'm not saying that people who do that professionally are just as immature. No, I think like that's literally part of your job. Like part of your job is to entertain in that fashion. So I get it. I was speaking strictly. Yeah, I know.
You got me on beat.
Yeah, Cianan, you're out here. I was going to say, never mind.
Okay.
I was speaking directly to like let's say you meet someone,
Mhm.
you're out and about, you meet someone, you guys exchange contact information, and then then you're like, oh, I wonder what they posted today, and
Mhm.
you see, and the first thing you see is hey, and they're taking shots down, and they're shaking the booty, and they're twerking with their friends, and they're slapping their friends' ass, and like ha
Mhm.
ha. I would see that as the equivalent of a bunch of dudes. Um, uh, Downing beers with the red cups and flicking each other in the dick or whatever the fuck.
Playing,
Like it's like the same thing
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
It's just fratty
Mhm.
or sorority ish, and like
Mm. Do you think it's because they're missing some type of element in their life of like wanting to be silly, wanting to be crazy, wanting to be out there
they're
without
just
not being
young,
so
wild. Yeah, they're
suppressive?
young, wild, and free, bro.
You
And
want
there's
to show
nothing wrong with
something?
that.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. Like I just happen to be a grandpa about shit. I'm a straight grandpa, and
Yeah.
and again, only reason I'm stating my opinion
Mhm.
is because I know that there's a lot of people out there who think differently.
Yeah, I can twerk on a wall. Do a
Fucking
handstand.
I don't want to see you twerk, Keenan. That's
You actually did. I did it here. Remember a long time ago? I did that in front of my grandfather.
no, you
Yeah, I
didn't.
did. And he
You
was like,
twerked in front of your grandpa.
Yeah, I twerk up against my girl at this ceremony, and then he's like, Keenan, what are you doing? It was funny.
But at the same, like, so like you
Yeah.
were, whereas
Yeah.
you would be like, oh shit, look at that girl.
I would
you,
because
you would like to go talk to her after that.
yeah, the way they
He said,
the
yeah.
jiggly jigs, yeah, man.
Whereas me, I would I would immediately make sure I don't speak to her the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Not because it's a reflection of a character, more than just like I know what kind of attention she wants from that,
Mhm.
and that's fine.
Well, see,
I'm
that-
just not here to give attention to that.
Maybe
Does that
we-
make sense?
Yes, and maybe we're agreeing in a different way because I wouldn't think that for me, as nice it would be as wifey material, I would not be like, I would
See,
not look
and-
at it and
and
go,
when I hear
"Oh, that's
that,
my lady."
That's why I was wording it so carefully.
Mhm.
I know there's someone who's gonna be out there. Oh, so just because a girl can twerk doesn't make her wifey material,
That's the thing.
right? But then there's a lot of girls out there who are wives
Yeah,
and they do twerk.
yes, I've seen few, and I'm like,
In fact, they twerk in groups.
and I'm jealous of the husband. The husband goes, "Yeah, you want her," because he doesn't want to deal with it. But the thing is that for me, it has to be more than that. Again, for me, it's all about consistency. You're and the style if you're doing it. You're doing it on a huge platform, online, with video posts and stuff like that. If you did that in a club or at the house, or something like that, or with your boyfriend or husband,
I feel so conservative.
that's
like as I hear like myself talk about this.
whatever. I mean, I'm on both sides because I did just admit I wouldn't consider that a wifey material type of
Right.
person, but I still enjoy it and like it.
And like I was saying, I just don't think I don't think that they're ready to be anything other than wild and free.
Okay.
Like if they're doing that.
Yeah. But
And-
there's other things besides that.
See, but like part of me in my head, I can just hear people going, so what? Just because a girl gets down with her freedom and has freedom of expression of her body, that all of a sudden you want to, just because I myself would prefer someone a little more like librarian-ish, a little more
Yeah,
teacher-ish.
I would
very-
too. A lot of guys would. It sucks that people would get down on you about your interests, but it's the same thing that I have a very hard time admitting or discussing about the type of quote unquote racial ladies that I'm interested in.
Like Latinos, for
Yes,
example.
I talk about in the show a lot about Latinas, and
Because you're still
and
looking
I'm
for
really
that
into
one.
Latinas, and I'm really into Latinas. But when somebody asks me, they're waiting for me to say that I'm interested in either black girls or white girls, and it's like I only
They
get,
ask you either or?
no, they just like
They don't
I,
even give you other options?
I know there's no other options but those two, and
What do
so
you mean?
because if I
For you, there's
yeah,
you don't think a Latin girl would be into you?
well, I had a Latin girlfriend
Right.
before, but it's other people that would ask me or talk to me about
Oh, they just
racial
automatically assume
relationships.
you only want either a white girl or a black girl.
Yes, that's the thing.
That's kind of fucked up.
Well, I mean,
Especially in today's age, because
that's the
dude,
thing. A lot of people, it's
I
still
like
there.
them black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, yo,
But
whatever.
even if we get to the part where I say I'm interested in Latin girls, they'll say, "Well, what about black girls? Well, what about?" And I was like, why did you even have to go there? You asked me what I'm interested in. I gave you an answer, and now all of a sudden you want to combat me and come at me. So
I see. They almost set you up.
yeah. So it's like I understand what you're talking
Yeah.
about, and I'm kind of just saying fuck them.
Yeah.
But
It's tough too because like I know there's a lot of rhetoric going around that certain races are being fetishized, I think is the word.
Yeah, a lot of people are about Asians a fetish or something like that.
Asian fetish, a black fetish,
and
Latino fetish.
And I can't explain. I don't know. Maybe it was watching Desperado or something like that with Selma Hayek, but I don't know what the reason was. I went to prom with 2 Latin girls. We could take the same thing
and be like, oh, you're pizza fetishizing or you're burrito fetishizing.
You can do that for everything. But us humans like to categorize people in different spots, and that's better for us to identify.
I do just feel slightly guilty about the way I look at. Like,
I'm saying you shouldn't, but I understand. Yeah.
Whenever I see girls and they're just like, the minute I see that, I'm just always like, man.
Yeah. Well, what do we
ratchet as fuck.
What do we do as guys?
I'm not saying that I wasn't like that at some point.
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that it's not who I wanted to be. And my question is there anything wrong? Look at me trying to get you to justify me. Is there anything wrong?
I'll do it.
Is there anything wrong with wanting what you want so long as it doesn't hurt other people?
I'm saying obviously no. And a lot of people tell me that because the whole racial thing. So we're both in agreement here. I think you're just trying to get a straight answer. The answer is no, there's nothing wrong with any of that. People have their preference.
Right.
A lot of people,
like I couldn't get along with someone like that.
Yeah.
Because what else are they interested in?
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, well, that physical
It's one thing if they're joking and they're like, watch me twerk, and it's a joke. It's another if they're legit out here like twerking and they're like,
Well, the more serious they get into it, I'm like, wait a minute. I've been to a lot of strip clubs. I'm about to hand out you some ones. Because you're going too far with it. But
shit. Keenan was like, it's a good thing I brought these ones.
Where are these singles come from?
I have to ask.
Oh, God.
Do you remember back in the day, I think it was for Veronica's birthday, you gave me that stack of fake money or whatever, and everybody thought it was real cash. Everyone thought it was real cash. Have you ever taken some of that cash to a strip club?
To a real strip club? No, because I know it's super illegal and my ass will get shot. Not by the police, but by the strip club owners. Like, how dare you bring in this fake money?
Can you imagine? You could never go back.
No, I have to do it once and then run the fuck out.
Grab a quickie real quick.
Yeah.
Like, how much if I gave you a stack?
Now, see, a lot of the girls don't check the money either. Some of the pros, they'll see, hey, wait a minute, they'll count it. But some of the newbies won't count. So,
shit, man.
I haven't been back to a strip club in a long time.
I've only been to a strip club 3 times in my life.
Yeah. You haven't gone to the right ones, though. That's the problem. They didn't take you to the ones where you're like, oh, this is a party.
Once when I was 18 for the first time, and so, like my friends they were celebrating their 18th birthday party. It wasn't even mine.
Yeah.
Another, I'm pretty sure I was dragged into it for someone else's like thing, and as usual, I didn't feel great. And then there was another one where went out like a couple like last year for a buddy of mine for his birthday, and I saw the different levels of you can tell who were the veteran strippers.
Oh yeah, you can,
because they were asking for the money straight up, and then there was the other ones that would walk by and like tickle your ear as to like what's up.
Yeah, they're trying to. It's like, oh, this is your first day. Okay.
When it first happened, I was like, oh shit, because it's like my 3rd time out when I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But then I remembered, I was like, you're at a strip club, bro.
Right.
So then after 4 more did that to me, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, there you go. And
I've never been that popular.
and that's one of the reasons why I try to justify strip clubs. A lot of people don't understand that that's a place where a man can get some confidence, real confidence. Because a lot of times, this is not my main reasons, but one of the reasons why I would go is so I can be comfortable around women who are really, really attractive and hot, who I would think I'd never have a chance to talk to.
Just to be in that space.
Who is now talking to me as if I'm hot shit. And I can be myself and I can learn, methods and terminologies. I can practice my flirting because I know nothing's going to happen. It's a business. So it can be beneficial for men who are very lack of self-confidence and self-conscious, and who have problems or issues like me approaching a random hot girl in a CVS, that you would never talk to before.
I mean, that's tough no matter who you are, man.
Yeah.
There's very, very, very few people who aren't afraid of rejection, and just in general. But wouldn't it be a lot like...
But you never get rejected at a strip club unless you're a dick.
Right.
So that's the thing. That's the good positive
Wouldn't
thing.
it be a lot like watching porn for sex tips, though? It's not the same thing. It's not...
Well, it depends, because a lot of those girls are very sexually active, so they can give you pointers.
Right. No, but what I mean is like you can't carry what you see in pornos into the bedroom.
I tried. Well, we've both done that, and trust me, it's awesome shit.
Yeah.
You know, we both. I'm pretty sure Joe's done it too.
But what I mean is, like, it's not like real sex.
No,
It's not the same thing. I mean, yeah, you can have fun
yeah,
and try things out.
It's not sensual or anything.
Right,
like that's
right,
just
right,
yeah.
right.
It's just like
because it gives guys the wrong idea of like what most girls want. There are times and places when you want to get freaky with it, right? But that's not always sex.
Yeah,
sex isn't always freaky.
Yeah, well, at some point, I would say someone in the relationship should be like, "Hey, you're not doing it right. You need to start doing it this way."
Well, there should always be communication.
That's the advocacy that I'm presenting. But, like, if you're watching porn and you're doing porn moves and the girl's not liking it, the girl's got to say, "Stop doing those damn porn moves."
Yeah.
Or like, "Hey, let's do sex the way I want to do it," or do something in a way where you can show the man, "Hey, you're not. I like you and I want to have sex with you, but you got to do this the right way." There's got to
be communication.
Because if you expect the guy to just do it on himself, by himself, you're not going to know. There's no growth. There's no getting better. There's no nothing. You got to.
If the guy can't if the guy doesn't understand the body cues that you're giving, then some communication is important. Yeah. But there's always body cues.
And I definitely communicate with my girl. I was always encouraged of her. I would ask her questions. You know, how would this? How would that? What do you want to do? Not during it, but after. How do you want to?
Yeah.
You know, so next time when we do it, I know what to do.
Right.
It's just I understand you want some mystery, and the guy figures out how to find a certain spot in a certain way. But it's like, if you don't tell him how close it is, you know, play like a hot cold game or whatever.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
If you
body language.
But
I mean verbally, physically.
If you take the time to kiss like 90% of the body, you can literally watch the way they react to certain spots.
If you're I would say watch because you can't look while you're down there doing.
But there's if it's not a moan, it's just a slight body budge, whatever it is, you can always find the spot, man. You can always find the spot. Yeah. Well, the reason why I brought that up though is because then porn. So that's porn, and then you take that into the bedroom and you're like, but that's what I saw in the porno, right? It's the same thing with like talking to strippers, and then you go out. I feel like I said that wrong. It's the same thing with talking to a professional.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, you think you can carry that into the real world. To some degree you can, but it's not exactly the same because they don't have to like your jokes.
Yeah.
And they don't have to make you feel like
same
you're saying
thing
the right
in the real world, right?
Exactly.
If they're
no, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Some strippers might laugh at you when you're not actually funny because you're paying them.
If you get to that point. I was talking about before, you know, you're at the bar just chilling. You can have a communication or talk with someone to get rid of that fear.
It's like the only place where the tables are turned, and now it's the girls who have an end game and not the guys.
Yes. And so the idea of the concept, like, again, this isn't my main reason. It's just a subtle thing that I noticed when I went to them more
You
than
found
once.
For you it worked.
Yeah, in the sense of I became more
you weren't as worried about what you could say.
Yes, or noticeable of who wants to continue the conversation or not. You may think that because you're paying them, they want to still be around you, but maybe it's just the ratchet places I go to. If you're not having a good conversation, they'll walk away quick.
Like the wham bam done.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Or if your conversations are dull. I've had that many times where I'm not talking about stuff they're interested in, they bounce. Oh, hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna go do, and they're out. Right. So it is a way to learn certain methods of talking or verbal discussion.
Right.
It's not meant to be taken as life lessons and you go out and meet somebody. But I'm just saying that it could help, or it has helped speaking to hot girls. Basically, that's the one liner I can just say about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
Take
and
it
with
how you
that, I think we have reached the soapbox hour.
Yeah, really? What time did we start? Wow. I thought we started later.
No.
Really?
We're there, yeah.
Holy shit. We're at 2 hours.
If anything, we should be cutting back on some of the things that we said.
But we talked about so much stuff real quickly, and then we got on a really good subject about relationships and
what I don't want to do with this podcast is I don't want us to repeat concepts over and over either, because like I feel like some of this stuff we've talked about before, not entirely though.
Some of the alien stuff. I'll go off on the aliens.
No, not that. Like there's always updates, but I mean just in general, like subject matter. You know what I mean? I feel like some of these things, or maybe I'm thinking back to conversations we've had in person off air.
Yeah.
Because you and I we build on what we've talked about. You know what I mean? But I don't know how the audience is feeling about it. And not that I'm doing it to cater to the audience, but I just want to keep it fresh. You know what I mean?
So you're saying the topics we discuss should be new?
No, or at least built on. I don't want people to go, oh yeah, they talked about it on the last episode. You know what I mean?
Oh, so we don't just do a one and done kind of thing. We continue it forward. I think I'm confused right now.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Wait,
me too.
What's going on?
What I'm saying is, as we come to a close, I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed this, because for me, this conversation was awesome.
Oh, you know yeah. I mean, shit. The first thing for me, see, again, different stroke for different folks. Who knows what they listen to if they like, but the fact that we had jokes and we were laughing, that was natural, and not trying to be like, hey, I got a joke for today or anything like that. The fact that we talked about these 5 to 10 different subjects, really.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We went deep on it.
Yeah.
Because Joe wasn't here to interrupt it with his ego, with his guapo-ness.
And we did talk about some subjects he posted on Trellis. We're about to go back to that. Yeah, but we did have a good segment on religion and finance and government and power and all that stuff. That's and true. Then we did relationship stuff for a good moment. You found out a good information about me and jealousy. Right. And then strippers, and then everything in the beginning was just building up to all the boyish
humor out.
Yeah, and all the
I feel like people fast forward our immaturity. The first 20 minutes is usually immature.
Or we just say in the description something about, and later in the episode we talked about this or something.
So I'm actually interested, Keenan. What is your soapbox for today?
Oh, fuck, you trying to just end it?
No. I'm actually, because I know you like to prepare your soapbox.
Well, no,
I never do, but I know you
never do. But my soapboxes always come from my daily life. So whatever happens in the week, something always. Now this is what Joe denies, but not denies, but he says that I manifest it. That somehow I'm asking for it, and I don't.
You're asking for it.
I know. It's just things happen to me that I either think about in the car on my way to work, like, oh shit, and I have a good 30 minutes to think about it, so I'm like really diving deep in it, or some asshole on the road does some asshole thing, and I'm like,
I'm gonna make this motherfucker my soapbox.
I gotta talk about it. Or some drama happens with some friends or something like that. I was like, oh man,
fuck
say
them.
Something. Yeah.
On national air.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say shit about, my work and what I'm doing on the road and all this other stuff.
It's a good thing they don't listen to this podcast.
One of them did, but fell off. And another one kind of, they watched the Instagram stuff. So the Instagram posts, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, will be coming soon from all the clips of the shows.
Now Keenan is taking care of it.
Auto editing. I'm relieving stress from Philly as much as I can. So my prepared soapbox is nothing that I can think of at the moment. But
you didn't prepare one.
Well, I mostly talked about it on the show.
Oh,
and then also
I got it out of you early. Huh?
You did, and a lot of times
premature. Whoops.
Sometimes I would.
It happens to everyone.
Or the whole wiping your ass and getting shit on your hands.
My God.
That would have been my soapbox. But no, the thing is, sometimes the things happen to me and I get so heated and I want to say it on the podcast. Podcast comes and I forgot all about it. It's like, damn, maybe I wasn't that heated as much as I was before.
Which is probably usually the case.
Usually the case.
We're not really as upset at the things that we think we are.
I do have a soapbox, and it's going to be easy and obvious, so I won't make sure that it's like, ooh, is he talking about me? It kind of does involve you in a way. So the idea of my soapbox is, or what you can call the title, is that there's 2 sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep this generic with as very little names and stuff as possible. But certain people that I know, and people have this in their whole friend groups and stuff like that.
Me, potentially, right?
Potentially. This is all hypothetical now in quotations. But
I'm listening, Keenan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, because I have mad respect for my friends. Every category of friends I have that are all scattered everywhere.
You're a big fan of your friends.
I'm a big fan of my friends, and as my soapbox that I'm talking about right now,
right?
The sense is that what is slightly frustrating but understandable is that certain friends of certain groups don't really hang out with each other that often. As much as I try and grab people for certain shows. I mean, my birthday party had like an array of assortment of people. One person even mentioned it to me like, hey, Keenan, a lot of different groups of people. these are people that usually never meet.
It was a point of pride for you.
Yes, and we do have moments. We did just talk about it, about introducing people to other people and stuff like that.
Right.
I am one of those that if I know you're cool and you can work with a certain group, there's no problem. I try my best not to disassociate friends from other friends. I've had interactions where um, I would be told by really close friends or even family members, "Hey, uh, I don't want you flirting with such and such because I know who you are and I don't want you, messing up her life or whatever, or getting together like they're my cousin or they're my friend, and I don't want to mix, my friends and stuff like that." It's really fucking stupid, but that bleeds into my soapbox about two sides of every story, in the sense that it really sucks that certain groups of people may not like other groups of people based off of information from only one side of the situation or story. And I, being in the position I am, hear all the different sides of the story. So when I hang out and meet with certain groups, they'll even ask about people that I know. "Hey, how are they doing? What are they up to?" "Oh, they're good and stuff." But then when I talk to other members, they're like, "I don't care about them," or they can do whatever they want. They're on their own. I'm going to stick to my own thing. It's like a lot of people don't understand that if I'm hanging out with you, there's something about you that's good and that's well and in good intention. You're not a dick or an asshole or anything like that. So if I'm still hanging out with them, there's probably something there that you may or may not know that I know, that uh, you could be a Nick community or connection that actually might benefit you, instead of not benefiting you by distancing yourselves from other groups. This is very obligatory, like out there with no names and section of people. But as my soapbox, it's just understand that if even myself, because there's some people that I distance myself from what I felt they did to me, I still understand that there's two sides of the story. So whoever I distance myself from, I still think that they think I'm doing them wrong, even though I think they're doing me wrong. Uh, and I know that, but at some point, someone should, as I do, should do myself, understand that there is two sides of the story, and I can't be fully upset or not want to work with them. So there's someone that I did distance myself from, but if we happen to cross paths and want to work with each other or can work with each other, I can do that without being, "Oh, screw you. You treated me like this back in the day." It's like, no, the job's a job. We'll do it. I appreciate who you are. We can do the work and then we can go our separate ways. We don't have to hug it out and grab dicks and or vaginas or whatever. But the point is that, we don't have to fake it as a friendship. We can still be cool. You can still be cool without having a friendship. So that's my soapbox is, hey, just remember, as upset as you are at anything that happens to you in life, there is another side of the story. There's grass is greener, flip of the coin, however you want to put it. Um, until you have all the information, it's best not to put in your own thoughts and ideas and judgments about somebody until you get that information. And that goes for me as well. So yeah, that's my soapbox.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I fuck with that. Totally understand where you're coming from.
Mhm.
Don't make any assumptions. Right.
Yeah.
Everyone is guilty of that.
And I'm pretty sure there's people that are like, "Hey, don't hang out with Keenan," and because I did or said something with them, and
thankfully,
like,
no one has ever said that to me about you.
Yeah,
and that's generally because you generally tend to be a really cool guy.
Well, I have said some words to people that I thought was a joke, but it came off, either racist or sexist.
Which
or
I'm always surprised by anybody that takes the shit that you say serious.
And someone did, and I noticed when I'm around them, they avoid me like the plague. And I feel like they also told somebody else to avoid me like the plague too, because they started acting weird around me too. So it's like, oh, okay.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think back in my life now, and hearing things is definitely one thing, but seeing them for yourself is another, right? And until you see them for yourself, you shouldn't be. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Right.
You're right. But yeah, there's also a thing that people change, and so maybe
That happens.
So why don't I do the antithesis to that as my soapbox, right?
Okay.
So I'll do my antithesis as a soapbox. Right?
Okay. Okay.
This is a new thing.
All right.
We've never
All
done
right.
that.
I'm waiting for this. I'm getting ready. Here we go.
And again, obviously nothing prepared. So I'm gonna
Cianan,
do.
you're full of shit.
I'm gonna do my best. No, just in case. So there's the other side of it, right? So
Exactly. This is the other side.
yeah. So in life, you're gonna come across people who are going to be amazing, and you guys are gonna have dreams, and you're gonna talk about projects together, and that's great. Do it. Go full force. Don't hesitate. Jump right in before you're ready. Just get started, right? And as things play out and people change, whether it's them falling in love or them starting families or them wanting to go back to school, whatever it is, because people will change, because that's the one thing that people are good at is changing, and at the same time the one thing people are the worst at is changing. Change being the only constant thing there, right? So that being the case, you can only do your part in a relationship, your half of it, and just be sure to be aware when you're not doing your part. And if you really have grown to a point where you're no longer you're no longer feeling like you're bringing your best to a situation, it's okay to remove yourself. If people don't understand why you removed yourself, unless they take the time to ask you why, if they're not going to be straightforward and be like, hey, whatever happened, then obviously they don't feel like you guys had enough of a good relationship to where you could ask those kinds of questions. I happen to think, me personally, I'm the type of person you can ask those types of questions, like, yo, whatever happened, and I would happily say, you know what, this is how I felt, but more than anything, I've just grown interested in other things, and I don't feel like I'm bringing my best self to the table anymore. So I decided to do other things. I generally personally tend to be pretty clear about when I'm interested in something and not anymore. And the minute I'm no longer doing my best job at it, I usually let that be known and I move on. Right. But that's not always the case. Speaking along your soapbox, some people in particular do just prefer to just assume. And so the antithesis to that is sometimes people do feel like they've been assumed, but a lot of the times it could just be people that have grown apart. People have just decided, I'm interested in other things. And that's dope, because then you get to bring a whole new flavor of life to your life, meaning a whole new set of friends, a whole new set of places that you've never been to that you now are a regular at. And the beauty about it is, if you did it right, you didn't burn your bridges. Unless those people take it in petty stride, you didn't burn your bridges, and now you build an even bigger army. But it takes patience. It takes true love for people to be able to see someone else's success or growth should not equate to your loss. If they're growing and in different directions than you, have the patience and the love to allow them to grow, so that when you guys do come back together to work on stuff or whatever it is, you're only stronger than you've ever been. But that can only happen if you keep the door open, hope alive, and a heart, unconditional love. Nothing outside of having literally been hurt directly should ever have you close the doors to someone. Because especially as the technology advances, our lives are going to become so transient. And, friendship isn't possessive. And honestly, that's the same philosophy I bring to like love, like personal relationships, like with like a partner, and spousal potential partner, if you will. It's got to be friendship first. It's got to be someone that treats you like literally like they would like to be treated. If that person is guarded and jealous or selfish, and that's them without you guys even being together, imagine when you're together, And so I always think friendship is the basic requirement of any relationship. Can you be my friend before my lover? And can you be my friend before my brother or sister? Because I feel like lover, brother, sister, mother, father, those roles tend to carry, or wife or husband, they tend to carry a sense of entitlement. And I don't want people to rest on that. I want people to try to be a good friend, because that one isn't. There's no entitlement to that. That shit is earned. That's why like people are always like, no, we're family. It's like, I think it's even harder to remain good friends because that shit is earned. Go ahead, Keenan. Just put the cup down. Just put the cup down, Keenan, because my soapbox was over.
What?
Yeah, it was.
And on that note,
yeah, Keenan's the best beatboxer.
I don't know. One of these days I will.
So let's try to do a beatbox.
Because you do that.
Right. So let's do a beatbox lesson, okay? So it's just like learning a new language. You gotta know it forward and back. Yeah. So just do.
Can you do that?
Just do. Right. Okay.
This sounds weak.
No. But yeah. Just leave that. No. Just the air. Almost like the tongue is pushing the air out. Right. Exactly. So. Yeah.
It sounds too low. You got some roll on it. It's like that.
It's with the tongue, yeah. But the cheeks are loose. It's not tight.
I think I prefer the
cheeks are loose. You prefer the cheeks tight?
Yeah, I can do the
because you want pitch in there, huh?
Yeah.
Can you do it like a snicker?
Oh, snicker?
Right. So do that. So do. I was gonna say, I was listening for the beat, but it just sounded like you were beating off. I'm sorry, America. I'm sorry that Keenan did that to you.
The None of Our Business podcast. Keenan will learn the beatbox eventually.
Tune in next time. Will Keenan learn the beatbox? Or will he continue to masturbate?
We're going to have John Leguizamo in the show. No, I'm just kidding. That's for Joe.
We don't know if that's for sure.
Just messing with you, Joe. Joe should be back next week, I believe.
Yeah.
So look out for Joe. Oh, why don't you play your music as our go out thing?
My new beat that I made?
Yeah, your beat.
My new
beat.
You
don't want that to be
I
part of
haven't released it yet.
Okay.
But we were actually going to open this episode with something. So I think we should do that. I'll have to confirm with Joe. But if this episode starts with a song, know that it started here by us having this conversation at the end of this episode.
Jesus. Okay. What's that?
There's a song that Joe and I have been talking about putting out for a while now.
You and Joe.
Yeah. There was a song out that we made together, working with our boys, Siphon, K-Lud, and even Prismadelic was a part of it.
Nice.
He laid down some guitar on it too. It's a dope track. Joe and I were writing it. And
it was nice that you were discussing this with your producers. So
he's like, "Wow,
so I can write this off."
Well, that's because you're totally our producer, Keenan. Actually, and then at some point we're going to feature a Keenan beat, and we'll let you know. But for now, let's just assume there isn't going to be anything because, So look out for the next couple of episodes. We're going to be featuring more things like that.
Okay.
And if you guys know of any artists that you're big fans of that you wish got more play,
so that's our outro. They'll play, or their intro of every episode will now be an artist song.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe something we believe in.
That's fine as long as it's not like 3 minutes long. I mean, it's like
if
it's
I
a sample.
know. 30 seconds, 60 seconds at most. I totally agree with you.
Okay.
Until one day we may find sponsors, but just know that everything that we're sharing with you, when we pay it in the beginning, it's never paid. Like we'll only do things that we believe in.
Yeah, nobody's making money for this. But thank you for listening.
Otherwise, we'd be a lot happier.
I know.
Keenan would have no soapbox if we were actually getting paid.
Yeah,
he'd be like, I don't know. I'm getting paid, bitch.
I would start complaining about my Maserati or some bullshit like that.
Oh, fuck, man. Can you believe I have to drop $160 of gas in my Escalade once a week?
Well, I wish I could do, because I don't want you to just do the beatbox, because I don't rap either. So it's like you beatbox and you rap, and then I want to be a part of that as you go out, but I don't know. I'll figure.
You know what it is, Keenan?
Don't worry, listeners. I'll do something.
Fucking useless. No, see, look, this is actually how we talk about. That's how we talk to each other.
Pretty much, you're getting the real deal.
We don't always have to beatbox, man. We can just say thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening, and we're gonna rock out with a little beatbox.
What the fuck?
You know I'm gonna cut all this shit out, right?
Why?
Because people are probably driving, going, "Fuck, this episode was pretty terrible on a close." They don't know. They're like the guys that get the phone numbers and don't get the hint that you should now leave instead of keeping the conversation going. You already got the phone number.
Okay, fine. If you cut it, you have to promise me I get the audio so I can put it on something on like either IG or behind the scenes on YouTube.
This is None of Our Business podcast. You know we don't edit.
Yay!
Oh, God. And on that note, oh God, don't.
I'm trying, people. I'm trying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, vote for me for 2030
Vote
president.
for Philly. Thanks for none of our business. Eat your woman out.
Suck your man's dick.
Pet your dog. I thought we were going to do it at the same time.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Eat your woman out.
Suck your man's dick.
Pet your dog. Which button is the press?
Fucking stop.